Fuji go high the beat. Stopping in, we been tapping in. We ain't never late. Dropping gems, we been locking in. Now let's elevate. Took else to win, running laps again. This is steady race. People's champ, boy, yeah, you know I've been a heavyweight. Stopping in, we been tapping in. We ain't never late. Dropping gems, we been locking in. Now let's elevate. Took else to win, running laps again. This is steady race. People's champ, boy, yeah, you know I've been a heavyweight.
You said what? What is going on? I'm waiting for it to get back in focus. That way they can see what's really going on here. What's that? It is episode 49 of the Heavyweight Bro in the building. What is it? May 21st. It is sweltering 94 degrees and it feels like it's 112 in this basement. But per usual, I am your host, the 5XL assassin, the diabolical diabetic, your boy, the big nasty. To my right, the Lord of Time and Space, my man, Uncle Raisin. Coach Buck, the freaking deacon, my little dumpling, the new Time Lord. What's going on over there, broski? Wave to the camera, say hi.
Introduce the guest.
And in the middle, we have another one of our guests, Mr. Big Man over here, the Celtics, like Dawn over here, the LeBron transsexual, my man Bmizz, the Prince in the building. What's going on, man? How y'all doing? Let's start all the way over to the right. Raisin, you wearing some interesting colors today. What's happening, man? What's going on? How you feeling?
I'm a man of my word. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm a man of my word. This feels worse than COVID.
And you caught it twice.
So I'm very familiar with COVID. This feels worse than COVID, man. I can't. Oh my goodness.
This is coming from the COVID commander himself.
Oh my goodness.
What's that? That's the big fofo over there. That's the Robert Williams III, if I'm not mistaken. You know, the anchor to the Celtics defense.
Yeah. Baseball said, kicking the door, waving the 4-4. All Raisin says is I don't wear this jersey no more.
Nah, man. When you making promises, you making bets, like you gotta to pay up on them. And the man that made you pay up, Bmizz in present. What's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the show. What's cracking, man?
Appreciate it, bro. Glad to be here.
Oh, we don't need to turn that voice up. That's what we need to pretend a little bit more. We ain't doing no soft-spoken Michael Jackson talking here. I'm asking
Talk the way you was talking when you was calling my phone and leaving messages. No, I'm just saying. I told y'all from the start, when the playoffs started, the Celtics would be where they're at right now. And we're just going to keep it rolling. That's all.
All I know was I put a challenge out there for you to make a bet for me. You never really came up with nothing. I was waiting for it.
What was it?
I put it out there. I was like, whatever you want. I was like, put it in the comment. And like, you never put nothing in the comment. Like I was waiting. And I was like, I'll make a bet on the Celtics. I thought they were going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I didn't think that they was going to get to the finals. That was my whole thing. Until I realized that they was going to be playing these Heat. But I digress.
Doesn't matter. All roads lead to Golden State. So it was a good run while it lasted. You better save this episode.
You don't think they got? We'll get there. We'll get there. So, do we have anything for Digging the Crates? I mean, we can get right into it because I know we got quite a bit of stuff to cover.
No diggity, no doubt. We only have one thing. Shout outs and congrats. Like we're friends with them or something. But ASAP Rocky and Rihanna had a baby.
And here we're friends.
So just for all those Rihanna lovers, that man done triple down. First he got pregnant, then he proposed, and now the baby's here. They are a complete family. So you better start finding you a new musical wifey because this one has been officially made a wifey. So
how's this trial going overseas? Like, how's that happen?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. He's not overseas right now. That brother is home making money and doing shows. So I think he'll be all right.
I know I had Marvin's Room on spin, and like when that came out, I was like,
Plus, I mean, if you think about it, like even with this whole situation in UK, that's where it's UK, right?
Yeah.
He's not really about to do no jail time.
He already did jail time in UK like earlier this year.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just like there'll probably be like time served, maybe some probation, or you can't come back to the country, or pay this certain amount of money. But I
hope they Brittany Griner that man. That's all I'm saying. I'm kidding. That was too far. That was too far.
I'm gonna push you, Fizz, and you push him because he's wilding right now. Oh my goodness, yo. Y'all kill him in the comments for that.
I was there. I was a witness. I will testify.
Yeah, okay. All right, but yeah, that was it. That's all we have for Digging in the Crates. I haven't listened to any new music. I've been real steadfast about staying on this Kendrick. I'm about 7 full listens through. It's
I would say this though, like the Kendrick fans are really talking real crazy because I don't know if you saw the numbers came out for how much he actually sold in his first week.
No, did it flop?
It's only 284,000 as like, which is pretty low.
What?
And then like, so the debate started where they were just like, what was really better, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers or the offseason?
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with people who don't know how to listen to music and you just worried about something. I'm not even about to.
You got that? You have the Kendrick album on like big repeat. You repeating it like a lot. Like you going through, you're like, man, like I can't wait to listen to We Cry Together.
Yes.
I'm just asking.
Yesterday I listened to N95 7 times in a row.
Okay.
7 times
What time were you on yesterday? What type of time were you on yesterday?
That's that going to work. That's that early morning going to work, and I put that one on, and I was just like, you know what? I don't want to go to another song because this one is really landing, and I just kept repeating that.
You look like you have some thoughts to me. What's going on?
I love my favorite on that is Silent Hill with Colette.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
like
it to me like oh yeah.
I like that one and the one with Summer Walker and Ghostface.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, shut the when love talking. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember distinctly being like, that Ghostface Killer? And then they're like, it is Ghostface Killer.
Yes. So you have to ask because you might have messed around and had Action Bronson or something out there. Like, is that Ghostface? Nah, that's Ghostface. I can tell.
Man, until you just said it right now, I didn't realize how much Action Bronson fit Ghostface Killer's whole style. It's like it's all
that man cooked, soufflé, ate, and continues to eat the same meal every time he raps.
It's all his. What's his show? The one where he goes around and eats food. It's like that's all he's doing is just eating Ghostface floor.
Yes, and I know at some point, and I cannot listen to his music because it's so confusing for me. But I know at one point he was super like influenced by the Wu-Tang, and one of his favorite Wu-Tang members is Ghostface. And I know to say that the highest form of flattery is imitation. Did I say that right? Yeah. But this is just wrong. Say that. Well,
made a whole career up and still.
Right. Man, that's kind of like forcing people out of their homes and then watching the property drop and then buying the property and then putting a Whole Foods on that corner and a
you said that he just gentrified the flow. Is that what you're trying to say?
So we'll move on to Insomnia Hour.
Wake me up this time.
Wake me up.
Wake me up this time.
Save me from this jersey.
Save me from the nothingness inside.
Oh man, so I already plan on taking the reins here because someone is slacking in the TV column.
I told you, like, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I've been watching these basketball games like all the way through, so it's like that's been taking up like all of my TV time.
So have I, and I still got through Dave, and I still got through Barry.
Oh, you finished Barry?
No, I didn't finish it. I watched a few more episodes.
Don't do that.
But I only got 2 today.
Okay.
The first one is We Own the City. Have you seen this one yet, B?
No.
All right. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
All right. So We Own the City. I'll say it again. You know, it's a documentary about real life situations.
Not a documentary.
I mean, not a documentary. It's what would you call it?
Like
Docu-series?
It's not a docu-series either.
It's not either.
It's a reenactment,
right?
Yeah.
So it's a real life.
It's a dramatization of a real life.
There you go. Thank you, Joe. Of real life events that happen in Baltimore City. Police officers who started out as good cops became crooked cops, and most of what they were doing that was illegal was busting criminals and robbing them of their illegal acquired funds. And throughout that, sometimes innocent people were arrested and held accountable for things that they did not do in order to cover up their nonsense. A lot of people, innocent people, went to jail, and a lot of other people went to jail that may not have if they were doing real police work. Yes, they did take guns off the street. Yes, they did take drugs off the street, but at what cost does policing look like? Is it like abuse of power, which it clearly is, or like why are policemen being celebrated? And it wasn't like it was a secret. A lot of people knew what was going on. It was a whole group of people, and then there were higher ups that knew that these individuals were not playing by the rules, and it just kind of kept giving them a green card to keep doing more of the nonsense just so they could make the papers for a drug bust. I can't lie to you. I'm attached to it. I know Joel said it was a slow watch. For me, like I'm going to keep saying it. It is really easy for me to get attached to shows that are real life events because of the whole shock value of like that. This really happened to somebody, or somebody's really doing this. Like the officers are still in jail right now. And that's not like, Yeah. It's not like a spoil because the first episode starts with them getting arrested, and then all the other shows are them being interviewed under custody about the events in which they were involved in. I believe like 2 of the head guys are still got like 10, maybe 15 years left in prison. So, it is what it is, but it is a dope show. It's got a lot of iconic characters. Again, the connection from The Wire.
Iconic characters.
He said, your boy the Punisher's in it. Not iconic.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we're tossing around words like really.
Well, I say iconic because a lot of the people in this show are from The Wire.
Beloved characters, actors.
Yes.
And they half of them you don't even know their real names. You're just like, oh, that's Marlo from this, and that's this person.
Right. And they never brought back your homie Skinny Charles either. It's just a one.
Slim Charles.
Slim Charles.
Not disrespect his name.
My bad. They disrespected him. They brought him in for one shot. It was like, hey, we just needed another the face from The Wire. You can get on out of here now.
You got stopped on a traffic stop, but you expect him to do.
Right. You bring this man into the show. I expect something else to come from you. But
I don't know. I ain't see Slim Charles on anything but that show.
Just a little sprinkle me, man, and they can't remove it. Aside from that, the other one we have is Atlanta. Atlanta released episode 10. So
I was unaware.
See what I mean, B? See what I mean, Miss? See what I mean?
It dropped last night, bro, or Thursday, whenever the Celtics game was.
Saturday.
Yeah, like today is Saturday. I watched 2 movies.
Bro, you just went and watched 2 movies. You could watch 30 minutes of television.
2 basketball games. How many movies did you watch?
You could have showed up.
How many movies did you watch? One of the movies I watched is the same amount of time as the 2 episodes that you watched. And I watched 2 movies, 2 full basketball games. I also know you show up a whole hour before a movie starts. You could have literally watched an hour now? Yes. At least I show up to movies that I say that I'm going to show up to. How about that? Regardless of the fact, I was busy and I didn't get to watch this Atlanta episode. Was it another anthology episode? I'm already wearing a Celtics jersey. Now he has to come with this abusive attack. You shot the shot first. Don't whatchamacallit. Don't blame the shooter. Because you were wrong. But yeah, either way, I don't know. It's bittersweet for me. For one, because was it an anthology episode or was it? No, this was actually an all band episode. Oh, but it was like I'm intrigued. This might be close to one of the worst episodes of Atlanta. Period, or just the season? Yes, just the season. I'll say just the season. I won't say for the whole series. I'll say for the season. It's a band episode. Like they're really like not all over the place, but there's a lot going on to where you're like, what's happening in this episode and why is this happening and what is the connection to the actual show? So it was just like, it was a little bothersome for me because at this point, all right, we've done all the thinking. You got all your messages across. Can we just get a real authentic Atlanta episode with everybody in it and you guys are doing your thing? But it's like none of the other characters were in it. It was just Van and then a bunch of randoms in the show. I think for me, what's scary is, again, this is the 10th episode of the season. And we don't know if this is the finale or if there's more episodes to come. So it can't be. I hope they do not. So listen, if there are more episodes to come, then I'll say, okay, great. I'll figure out what this episode was about, or maybe they'll find a connection throughout the rest of the season. But if this is the finale, this was not a good idea. You watch Atlanta? No. Not at all. What do you watch besides basketball or Celtics games, I should say?
Well, actually, a show that I'm really into, and their new season's coming out next month, is The Shy. I love that. That's his jam.
I've been waiting for somebody to talk to this. We're gonna have you come back on when The Shy come out.
The crazy thing about it is, our mom ran into Jacob Lattimore.
What?
Who plays Emmit in Chicago when they were coming back from Florida.
What?
So a couple of months ago when they came back.
They get a photo or something?
Well, she was behind him. He was getting some food. She was behind him. And like he had his mask on, but she recognized him. And she was like, Emmit?
She said Emmit! She said Emmit! Yo, and she said it like it was like his mom on the show. Like, why you ain't taking care of these kids, Emmit? So, what did he say?
He was like, yeah, that's me. And she was like, you know you did Tiff wrong, right?
No, she did. Yo, that is hilarious.
I'm just trying to get my Samaro, bro.
Yo, that is hilarious. Marcus, you know you did Tiff wrong.
Yeah.
What is this? Wait, go ahead. All right, I won't keep cutting you off. Go ahead. What happened?
So of course she responded, "No, she did me wrong." So but she didn't ask for a picture or anything, and he went on his way. So that was a dope moment. So she told me,
I'm gonna hashtag his name in this episode. See if he catch him, man. That's what's up, man. The Shy is definitely dope. Joe, I know I've made some recommendations.
I've watched the first season of The Shy. We've talked about it. Like, I watched the first season, but like something happened where like I just never picked it back up.
I think it's about
and then the scandal stuff started happening too. So like it kind of like
I was concerned of where the show was gonna go after the scandal. But this is about to be season 4, 5.
Damn.
Yeah.
I gotta see what's going on with me and Pop. That's all.
And
that's
what I was about to
say.
say. I think they're in a good space, especially if the season keeps getting renewed. This is a great little ad lib. It's a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But like
where like Chris Paul did up.
He did Chris Paul did backboard. There you go. But he didn't DeAndre Ayton it. Jordan did. So there you go.
I was hoping he was gonna play Griffin.
I'm Brandon Knight. But so I think they're in a good space, not only because the show did so well, but like all the older characters on the show can be like staples in the show as it continues to go on. But all the younger characters are getting to the age to where they can carry the show. You know what I'm saying? So even if people like get killed off or move off or fade, like that young cast that they have could possibly carry the Shy for another 3-4 seasons. You never know. Like this, I have never seen it done this way. This is just an idea. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but like it's kind of just like having a senior class and a freshman class, and as people graduate, those underclassmen are coming up and taking it over.
So Degrassi?
No, we're not doing that.
Well, are we about to disrespect Degrassi right now?
I've never watched Degrassi. I'm assuming Drake act just as well as he acts like a rapper, right?
I mean, he was a rapper on the show for a little bit.
Was he? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He said, "Don't be rude. Get in the kitchen and make my food." You'll forget about that, man. Come on now.
Goodness.
But he was all right in the show. He was like, but they had him playing all of the, like, he's the biracial kid, he's the black kid, he's the handicapped kid, he's the basketball kid, he's the rapper kid, he's everything.
Blackface audition?
It wasn't. That was his mixtape.
That was his mixtape?
Yeah,
that was the only scene I know from Degrassi is when he's running from the kid and he pops him.
Yeah.
And then he's in a wheelchair.
It was a very sad moment.
Okay.
Why do you hate this man so much?
I don't hate Drake. I'm just saying, okay, you're saying it was a sad moment.
Like you took joy in him getting shot in the back.
No.
No. There was a lot of pleasure on your face. No. You forgot about the Time Lord jersey for a second. Thinking about Drake catching a stray.
This joy, I could feel this joy embedding itself into my skin. This is like almost like I hung out with somebody who had poison ivy, and now I just feel it growing on my body. It's just like it's not okay at all.
Do you remember the Goosebumps episode where the girl puts the mask on and then she wears it for so long she can't take the mask off? That's show's about the tattoo on your skin. That's what happened.
So yeah, just to finish off for Insomnia Hour, So I think the Shy is a pretty dope one. I like where it could go, and Atlanta needs to do more than just this 10th episode. I can't remember what we said the other seasons were. Were they all 10 episodes?
Yeah, they were.
So if this is 10, this is like I said, it's not a good finish. It doesn't bring too much excitement, and there's not like I can't wait for next season that may not come for 5 years to watch this again. This could literally be like a series ending episode if they don't do
If this is potentially the series finale, then it's a bad series finale.
Yes, and I could mess around and regret all the time that I put into it.
No, see, like my thing is like you can't do that. Like yes, the same thing with Ozark. Like I didn't like the series finale. Okay, all right. But that doesn't mean that the whole show in itself was a waste. It was just a bad finale.
You're right. I apologize.
I was gonna say I got a lot of enjoyment out of
You're right. You're right. It's like having a really good friendship that ends abruptly and you're just thinking about the good times.
Wow, yeah.
Wow, look at that. See?
It's about time. I was like, it was 4 track analogies.
Oh, my
goodness. One of them had to hit. One of them had to hit.
Is the Celtic jersey not enough?
It's not.
All right, let's go move on to Popcorn Papi. I'm really nervous.
Don't stop. Pop that.
I'm really nervous about this segment. But
why?
Joel did go see 2 movies today.
I did.
I didn't even know there were any new movies coming out because I know Top Gun doesn't come out until next week.
Yep.
And then
they already got
Jurassic Park.
They already offered me advance tickets to go see Top Gun. I think I'm just gonna wait until Saturday.
Well, let me know because I will definitely go. I definitely want to see Top Gun.
I think it's on Thursday, and I know how your schedule will be, so I don't know.
Thursday might work. Thursday might work. We'll see. And I know that we said the Jurassic Park movie comes out a week after that.
Tickets.
Yeah, that Jurassic Park joint's gonna be fire. That joint's gonna be fire. They have done really well with that franchise. But I won't digress. What 2 movies did you see today?
Okay, so the first movie I saw was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, which was on Disney Plus.
It's at the crib.
Yeah, it's at the crib. It's not in the theaters.
Okay.
So
I can watch it with knives.
I mean, you can try and watch it, which is I just don't know if it's the most kid-friendly movie. And it's like
it has cartoon characters.
It is, but so did Roger Rabbit. It's like kids have been watching Roger Rabbit.
Come on, you see Bmizz eyes? It's like, yep, you're right.
So
forever ruined.
Roger Rabbit is actually in this movie and stuff like that. This movie is very Roger Rabbit-esque.
Wait,
so like
he's in the movie?
Roger Rabbit's in the movie.
Oh, nah.
So
there's people smoking stogies and sexual innuendos, isn't it?
It's not like that type of crazy. So like they're not swearing, they're not having sex, and like all this other type of stuff. They're not like cursing people out, but it is like a pretty adult story.
Okay.
I think this movie is based for people who grew up on Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. So like in the world that they've created in this movie, like Chip and Dale's was a TV show, but it's like the Chip and Dale's chipmunks were actors on the show. So like after the show is over, there's still cartoon chipmunks that have to like live in this world.
Right.
So the world, like I said, is like a Roger Rabbit-esque, where it's like all the characters in this world, like there are humans, but then there's cartoon characters that are CGI. There's cartoon characters that are drawn. There's the 60s cartoon characters. There's Muppets. Like they all exist in this world. There's like a Gumby type character and stuff like that. And it's actually really dope, like the way that they had them weave in and out. So
it's really like a time machine.
In a sense, like, yeah, there's a lot of characters that they kind of just make up for it. But like a lot of the characters are like, oh snap, like that's this character from this thing, and that's this character from this thing. But like the basic premise of the show is Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers gets canceled. Chip and Dale themselves have a fallout. So Chip winds up going and joining like the workforce. He becomes like an insurance salesman, and he kind of like leaves all of that behind him. But Dale is like constantly trying to chase like that high from being like an actor. So like he winds up getting surgery to turn into CGI to try to update because like and like he's you can see him at like he's at like almost like a Comic-Con type convention with other characters, and he's just like, wait, like watch, I'm gonna blow. And then like one of the characters there is Baloo from the Jungle Book. But it's not Baloo, it's the Baloo from the live action Jungle Book. Because he's like, yeah, I'm getting the surgery to kind of get like what Baloo got, where he got this reinvigoration because now they're doing everything live action.
It's hard.
Yeah, but it's like I said, like the movie, it's like pretty like a little bit adult. So like one of the characters from Chip and Dale's winds up owing like a mafia person money.
What?
And, yes.
Wait. Loan sharks?
Yes, loan shark.
Yeah.
Do you remember the fat one, Monterey Jack? The one that's like cheese.
Yes.
So
yes.
He gets addicted to cheese, and he's like,
"Come on, man!
Come on.
You said there was no addiction in it.
It's cheese, bro. Like,
the message.
It's different.
The message.
Like he has a dealer, he has like all that kind of stuff. Like,
no, this
like,
kid's out here itching for cheese.
Yeah, he's like, I need the cheese. Bro.
Don't try to show up scratching, looking all dirty.
No, not like all that. But like he owes people money because he was taking money from people to get the cheese. So he comes to Chip and Dale and is like, listen, like I need money, I need to get away from these people, type of deal or whatever. They kind of don't agree to help him, and he winds up getting like almost like trafficked. Like he gets kidnapped and stuff like that. So Chip and Dale then come together and do like detective work to try to figure this thing out because the cops don't really care about it. So then it's like they're essentially doing Chip and Dale type stuff again. And it's like they're kind of like reinvigorating it, but there's like a lot of fan service in it. There's a lot of like stuff where it's like you remember from like watching stuff like as a kid, like, oh, like I know exactly what they're doing right here. Right. I know what this means. They run into like a lot of characters from older TV shows, like a Darkwing Duck, like is it like stuff like that? Like there's a lot of guys in here and stuff like that. But then it also talks about like, you know, like how quick like we throw these characters away, like how important they are. Like they're on our t-shirts, they're our covers, our posters, and then like 2 years later, like we just kind of throw them to the wayside. And it's like what happens to those guys? Yeah, stuff like that.
Say no to cheese.
I thought it was pretty good. Like there was a lot of things that made me laugh. I think going to streaming was the smartest thing they could have done with it, because like I think if it would have went to the theaters, it wouldn't have been as great as it was. But like streaming it, I was like, yeah, I was like, this is pretty good. So like, if I was to put this on the national scale, which is full price, matinee, $5 Tuesday, Redbox, save it for streaming and skip it. I think it has to go squarely in the matinee category. Like it's pretty good. Like I would have paid too much for this movie. I would have paid the $5 or whatever it is to go see it and stuff like that. It was pretty solid.
Okay. All right. And
it's funny though, because like they do talk about like how like when they do live action remakes, like how like they deviate from the original show and stuff like that. Like one of the things is like they talk about where like, yeah, like you know how like when you watch something and like all you want them to do is do like the old school theme song, but they always do like an updated theme song with someone who isn't that, and then like they do the theme song and it's like Post Malone. And it's like, oh man. And it's like it's a lot of like winking at the camera type stuff. But it was like I thought it was pretty solid. I think it's worth the time. I just said like I don't think it's a bad movie for like Nia so much, but I just think he has like no frame of reference or anything in it. Like it's really made for like our age group and like older.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that.
All right. And then you went to see one other movie. You said, "Oh snap!"
Yeah,
that's a message. Say this next movie is what you need to hurry up and get through.
You're gonna have to bear with me on this.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot to like try to unpack with this movie.
Okay.
So I watched a movie called Men, which is an A24 movie. For those who don't know, A24 is a company. They're like somewhat independent, but like they're really all about giving like filmmakers the freedom to make like the movies that they want to make. So they're responsible.
Like Sundance thing.
Kind of, but like they're a little bit more higher budget. And it's like, so like they've had a lot of hits. Like one of the biggest ones was Hereditary, like the scary movies. Like, you know, they made that. They made Midsummer, The Green Knight. Recently they did Lamb. And like they've branched out like into like a lot of things.
I've never heard of these movies before. What type?
You don't watch movies. Like I
watch movies. What genre of movies?
So like I would say they lean more towards like the horror / thriller area, like you know, suspenseful type things like that. Like Hereditary is like one of the best horror movies like the past couple years. Midsummer was a bit of like a psychological thriller, like stuff like that. Like they kind of lean more towards those genres. And this movie was kind of the same.
Any big names?
No, they're all like really British actors. There's really only like 4 or 5 people in this movie because, and I'm gonna get into why that's the case. So the basic synopsis of this movie is this woman was going through a divorce with her husband, and because of the divorce, the husband winds up committing suicide in front of her. And because of this, she kind of just breaks off from the real world and takes like a summer off into like this cottage in like the countryside, and is just kind of like and it's just like, you know, kind of trying to get over like this very traumatic situation that she had to go through. That's like the basics of it. So like some of the trippy things about this movie is all of the men, aside from her husband in this movie, are played by one guy. And like this guy is like, his face is like superimposed like on other bodies. So like not only does he play like a pizza delivery guy, he's also the pastor, he's also like a child, he's also like he's so many things, and it's like
the white Eddie Murphy,
right? You can kind of, I think if you watch this movie, you wouldn't compare nothing about this to Eddie Murphy. That's all I'm saying. It's like there's like a lot to it. It's so like I think the movie like it has like this message that it's trying to get across, and like after the movie was over, I don't usually do this, but it's like the movie was over and I legit stood up. I was like, anybody want to try and think about what that movie was about? And people were like,
in the theater,
and people legit turned around and was like, this is what I think it was. This is what I think it was. Like everybody thought something different. And it's like, I kind of gave like my piece on it. And I don't want to tell what it is because I feel like it'll make
y'all had a mini conference in the
theater after
the movie was over?
Because like there's a lot of wild imagery in this movie. Like I don't want to talk about like what it is, but I was like this is not a movie that Ray's will ever watch because it's a lot of the stuff that's like in it. Like there's a lot of like kind of like demonic undertones, and then it's like there's a lot of like gory imagery.
Yeah, you know, I'm all set with all of that.
But it's just like I'm trying to think of like the way that I could do this without giving like any sort of spoiler. But I think
you don't have to worry about spoiling it. I clearly am not.
It's not for you though. It's for everybody else.
Okay, you're right.
But I think it's just like, you know, it's kind of like the underlining message is just like the way that women have to navigate the world that like men inhabit, and it's just like how women are always held responsible for like men's negative behaviors, where it's just like a man will lust after a woman and like try to attack her, and then like when he gets arrested, he's like, well, she was wearing this and like that's what made me feel like this. And it's like, should I feel some sort of way because like I'm attractive and like I'm this and I made you feel lustful, so like I should feel bad that happened? And then like, you know,
did you say this in the theater?
I did. And like what you got, like I was
standing ovation or something?
No, but like I had a bunch of people going like because like people's thoughts were wild. I'm just throwing that out. Like I was just like, I don't know if we watched the same movie, bro. Like, there are a lot of older people in there too, but so like that. But there was a lot of wild thoughts. But it was just like, you know, the way how oh man, I know that's not sidebar Bam walking in mad late in the middle with the heaviest footsteps of all time. Like,
welcome sidebar Bam.
You have two. You have two chillin',
man. Yeah, I gotta switch my Bluetooth.
Yeah, all right. Like I'm in the, no, I'm finishing the synopsis before we start introducing things. We're not doing this. But yeah, like I think it's supposed to be like that was the director's point, is to kind of just like shine a lens on like how that is, like how women have to navigate, you know, the world of men in that sense. And it's like, I think she does it with the most bonkers imagery possible, but it's like, I get it, but I think this was a little bit too artsy fartsy.
Okay.
And so like that. So like, I had a real tough time, like in my head, like on my way here, I was just like, where do I rank this movie? So yet again, nasty scale, full price, matinee, $5 Tuesday, Redbox, streaming and skip it.
This man had a whole full conference.
Like, we had a town hall. We had a town hall meeting.
Only Joel.
The thing is, like, I went with Nick too, and Nick was like, "You really about to do that?" And I was like, "Hey, like, I was like, I need to know because like this is what I thought. I just need to know like if I'm crazy for thinking this."
You can see the dude coming in to clean up popcorn. Well, I watched it too. And
the dude coming to clean up the popcorn was like, "Was it really like all that time?" He's like, "Should I watch it?" And I looked at him and I was like, "No." Like,
hit him with the Men in Black thing. Like,
I think this is a red boxer. I think if like you're really into this type of stuff and like you like the A24 movies, then you can watch it, but you don't need to spend your money to do so. Or like you can spend your $2 on Redbox or whatever it is and rent it and then have your discussion on it. But for the most part, I think you can miss it. I don't think like anybody, like nothing really too great came out of it. I don't think it's an award type of movie where it's like you need to see it because the acting is so great, or like you need to see like these scenes. It's just really uncomfortable all the way through because like that's the type of like horror or thriller that it is, where it's just like there's like I said, like a lot of uneasy imagery of like a lot of things that happen that just make you just feel weird. And it's just like, you know, walking into like a lot of really quiet, dark rooms and you're just waiting for stuff to like come out. And it's just like, so it's just like, it's that feeling like the whole way through. So it's like, if you're into that type of stuff, go for it. But like, I just don't think it's all that. So like, that's where I put it, like where a Redbox at.
Okay. All right.
Yo, this man is struggling. Please introduce this man.
Sidebar Bmizz here, everyone.
I'm not struggling. I'm just trying not to make noise.
That's what's up. We appreciate that. Welcome to episode 49, man.
How you doing?
Thank you. Allergies, I kicked my behind, but you know.
Is it allergies and not COVID?
Nah, I took the test.
Oh,
3 rapid tests.
3? You said 3 rapid tests.
Is there a reason why you felt it was necessary to take 3?
Because I was around somebody who I found out at last minute was COVID positive.
Oh, okay. And you do want to give yourself a day or two to
make sure. You know, I was all up in his face while we were all on FaceTime.
Okay, gotcha.
And didn't find out until the person on FaceTime was like, "Man, why are you around him? He's COVID positive."
Wow, we got undercover COVID people? That's what we doing?
Wait, so he knew he had COVID and didn't say nothing to you?
Yeah, the COVID command. Don't touch this man. You know.
I am COVID free, bro.
You are subject 0, bro.
I am COVID free. Yo, no, listen, man.
Oh my God. This man's a super
now
spreader.
I got the sniffles. I'm out here riding my bike and I ain't had these before I left Raisin House.
Oh man,
food tasted different after I left the Raisin House.
Yo, listen, man, y'all not about to turn me into the monkey from Outbreak, okay?
This is perfect fine. Going about my business. Allergies wasn't really bothering me. Came to Raisin, dapped them up.
Oh, here we
rolled
go.
Down the street, and I was like,
this man got real touchy-feely when he had COVID too.
Here we go, man.
He was supposed to ride somewhere. I'm thinking he's feeling good, and you like, I hear you on the phone. Yo, why are you around this cat? Aren't you COVID positive?
Yeah.
You're just out here spreading it to the world.
Yeah, listen, man. That's not how it went, bro. And you don't have COVID, so y'all not about to put this like, all right.
No. You don't get to do the thing where it's like, oh, you don't got COVID, so like it's all good anyways. It's like, brother, you had this man in a dangerous predicament. He has a young child at home and a wife that he has to worry about.
He never came in my house. We were outside. We were always 6 feet apart from each other. So it wasn't like we was out here doing no big step of handshake and kicking it and having dinner.
Definitely did.
I did not dap you up.
Yes.
I did not dap you
Yes,
up.
you did. Then you got in the car with a little man who was out stuffing too.
This man poisoned your child.
I did. I opened the door and said, "What's up, the little homie?" I did not get in the car. This man seemed like we went for a ride. All right, we getting off of this, man.
Open the door. Shit.
Little man, kill me, man.
Little man.
Y'all know how to kill me.
Little man.
Oh, that's what we doing.
You said my boy.
That's what we doing.
Little
Oh,
man.
oh my goodness. Now
I gotta explain to your mom why.
Now I got to be the fourth party person. I'm like, oh, you feel sick? You know, I was with Raisin and then Raisin and COVID and Joel, and then that makes perfect sense.
Patient zero.
I'm not trying to hear it, man.
Super
I'm not the outbreak, baby. I'm not doing it, man. Can we get to this hardwood?
Bmizz has not breathed in 3 minutes.
Can we get to this hardwood check-in, man? Y'all brothers is tripping, man. Look at this guy, so ready. This guy's so ready.
So, should we save the best part for last? I mean, I know we got a bunch of playoff games, and then we got some teams that were announced and stuff like that. So I think we'll save that discussion for the very last one, so we can get into it.
So do the teams first.
All right. So I'm glad we're going to do the teams first, because I also have like a little bit of an exercise as well to go along with it.
Okay.
But the NBA did announce the 2 defensive teams.
Okay.
So the all-defensive first team is Marcus Smart,
Okay.
Jaren Jackson Jr.,
Okay.
Rudy Gobert,
Okay.
Mikal Bridges, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
Second team, Robert Williams, the Time Lord, Drew Holiday, Matisse Thybulle, Draymond Green, and Bam Adebayo.
Damn.
Okay. Who was the third one?
Third what?
The third name you said?
Matisse Thybulle.
Okay. All right.
Is there anybody that we feel like should be on this list that wasn't on the list? Anybody that comes across? I don't really think so. I think for the most part, they kind of nailed it. I was kind of surprised with the Bam. But then I was kind of like, I don't know who really replaces him. So like, I guess like maybe there's some numbers in there that like I don't understand or knew that took place that validates it for that.
He does block a lot of shots.
Right. So like I was assuming, I was like, maybe man, it's super solid. I mean,
His presence when he's there,
right?
The way the team plays.
If I'm not mistaken,
much better when he's there.
If I'm not mistaken, the Heat were the top 3 in defense. So like somebody from the team had to make it.
Right.
Jimmy Butler plays whenever he feels like playing type of deal. So like Bam's kind of there.
Jimmy Butler.
Oh yeah.
Hates Jimmy Butler.
We gonna get there. But with the teams that were named, and we know that the 3 finalists for Defensive Player of the Year were Marcus Smart, Rudy Gobert, and Giannis.
Yep.
Last week you made a claim that Rudy Gobert is trash.
Yes.
And that he's not a top 10 center. I put the poll out there, and I feel like you made a bunch of phone calls because I was like, all the people that said he was trash turned out to be all your friends. That's all I'm just gonna put out there. It's like I looked at all these people and I was like, these are all racist people that voted trash. So I have a list here.
Wait. So you put a poll out.
Yep.
Don't try to side away from this. You put a poll out, and it didn't go how you had planned.
No, it did. What you call it? I believe that there was 12 votes that were placed. 8 of them said that he was a top 10 center, and the other 4 said that he was trash.
So why'd you make it seem like 8 was probably on your board? It's okay.
What? Yeah. 8 agreed with me.
Yeah, you gotta stop listening to this man.
So this is what we're gonna do. I have a list of all the centers in this league.
Okay.
And I want you
so you know, Miz, before he does this whack little setups, this is what Joel does. He brings stuff up as it's almost like Uncle Phil going to the pool hall. Like he's not really worried once he breaks out Lucille because he knows that he was setting you up from the gate. So he brings up stuff knowing that he knows what the ending's going to be, because you can't really find 10 legit centers. So it's not hard to be a top 10 center. But go ahead.
Can I name these 27 centers that I have on here?
20. Do you have to go through 27?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So would you like me to start from the top and move down, or move from the bottom and come up to see like where Rudy Gobert goes?
As far as rankings?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
So
start from 27, I guess.
All right. So we're gonna go from the bottom to the top.
Okay.
Money is not a question.
No.
The question is, who would you rather have on your team? Player A or Rudy Gobert?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Ivica Zubac.
No.
Who you taking?
I'm taking Rudy.
Okay. Isaiah Stewart.
I'm taking Rudy.
Yes. Miles Turner.
Ooh.
I knew Miles Turner was going to be a person that was going to
taking Miles.
Why would you take Miles Turner
because
over?
He's going to give me buckets offensively, bro.
So I'm glad that you said this because I looked up Miles Turner.
You can't go out this year, bro. The Pacers are trash. The Pacers are, that team gets worse every year because they keep giving pieces away, bro. Like, come on, man. I think they're talking about giving away Miles Turner and Sabonis, aren't they?
They were.
Yeah.
Sabonis is already gone.
Yeah. Sabonis is already gone, and now they're talking about giving away Miles Turner. Like, they are literally trying to start from scratch. Like, that team could probably lose the Central tomorrow. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't base these numbers off of that, man.
Why
come
not?
on. Nah, Joel. Nah, don't do that, man. Don't do that. This is what I talk about. See how he was already ready for this. That's why he said, when we said, he was like,
I'm glad that you said that.
I have some.
I legit know the numbers.
Don't tailor the argument to only be a one-sided Joel. No. Go on to the next guy.
So I'm just saying, like, without a doubt, New York Knicks have a chance, $10 million to each player. Mm-hmm. You can either get Rudy Gobert or Miles Turner. You want Miles Turner?
Yes. Because he's going to turn into a pumpkin. We already have a pumpkin I'm trying to get rid of. I don't want another pumpkin.
I'm just saying, like, Miles Turner's been a pumpkin his entire career. Yeah. Like, he's never been anything but what he's been.
Next.
I just told you he was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year and on the all-defensive first team. I didn't see Miles Turner on there.
Yes, because they got rid of 17 players off the roster and they gave them all G Leaguers.
Okay.
Instead of make it happen.
So I guess Miles Turner is one. We got one person. Ready. Jakob Poeltl.
That's from San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
Dwight Powell from the Mavericks.
No.
Mitchell Robinson from the Knicks.
Yes.
You'd rather have Mitchell Robertson.
I like Money Mitch. I'm not taking Rudy over any Nick, except for Julius Randle.
You're telling me right now.
I'm taking Money Mitch. He's giving me the same thing Rudy does. A bunch of defense and no points. I'm taking Mitch.
Bmizz?
I'm going Rudy.
Okay, I'm just let you go. I'm just saying that I'm not crazy. By the way, Bam, I know like basketball is not really your forte. Do you have any thoughts on any of these players I've named so far?
A little bit, but I'm taking Money Mitch.
You taking Mitchell Robinson?
Thank you.
What has Mitchell Robinson done that makes you want to take him over Rudy Gobert? It's literally not the same thing at all. It's like not even close.
Okay.
I mean, I went to go see the Knicks play Miami back in early March, I think. And honestly, I was not impressed with Money Mitch. I'm sorry, Raisin. I wasn't impressed. And I'm not saying
Knicks are not impressed.
But I'm not saying that as a Knick hater. But like he had some bunnies that he was messing. I'm just like,
the Knicks aren't impressed with Money Mitch, which is why they keep Taj Gibson around.
Because of the way the Knicks were playing, or because of the way he
Well, I mean, that was a game that that man RJ Barrett dropped like 40 in the first half. And
then I was just like, in the second half, RJ, we gotta fix that, man.
Yeah.
And just so y'all know, in my defense, Rudy Gobert is the one that gave COVID to the nation.
Are we ready? Are we ready for the next person? So we're gonna start calling you Raisin Gobert. That's what it sounds like.
All right, go ahead.
Andre Drummond or Rudy Gobert?
I'm taking Drummond, man.
Yo.
I'm taking Drummond, man. I like I'm not taking Drummond.
I was gonna say, like, this is what are we doing for real?
Yeah. Now let's get rid of that antibody, man.
Yeah.
So we're going Gobert.
Yeah.
Okay. James Wiseman or Rudy Gobert?
Oh, I'm going Wiseman.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I know he has not played basketball, but the ceiling is super high for that kid, and he can score. He is a bucket.
He
is a bucket.
Because I have James Wiseman's numbers from when he was healthy. Would you like me to give you those?
It was his rookie season, bro.
So you're telling me that Rudy Gobert on the Golden State Warriors is not an improvement over James Wiseman on the Golden State Warriors? Healthy James Wiseman?
No, I'm taking Wiseman. He's a bucket. He's a bucket, bro. I'm not trying to hear.
What if I told you right now that Rudy Gobert averages double the amount of points that James Wiseman does?
Wait, say that again?
What if I told you that Rudy Gobert averages double the amount of points that James Wiseman does and shoots a higher percentage from the field?
Bro, if you only shoot layups, the percentage is always going to be high. So don't talk percentages with big.
I'm sorry. Is James Wiseman dropping threes that I missed at some point in time? Or is he also taking layups and stuff like that around the basket and not finishing?
I'm about to throw some stuff again. I made my pick. My pick is James Wiseman.
Wendell Carter or Rudy Gobert?
I'm gonna go Rudy.
He's not on Chicago
anymore.
He's on the Magic.
Yeah, he's
Magic.
on Magic. I said Rudy.
Rudy?
Yeah.
PJ Washington or Rudy Gobert?
I'm gonna go Rudy.
For the Hornets?
Yes.
I thought Mason was their starting center.
Now, PJ Washington towards the end, they did the PJ Washington Miles Bridges combo.
Okay.
And then with Plumlee coming off the bench.
Okay.
Jonas Valanciunas from the Grizzlies.
Ooh. I like the way he played.
How is this tough?
I like the way he played this year.
So you telling me that Rudy Gobert next to Jaren Jackson Jr. is it like a little bit better than Jonas Valanciunas next to Jaren Jackson Jr.?
So hold up, Memphis has both Valanciunas and Steven Adams.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jonas Valanciunas
I'm going Valanciunas, man.
Are you being for real right now? You're being for real.
No, I'm not being for real.
All right.
I'm just trying to get up to 10 as quick as I can so that you.
I was gonna say, like, stop cheating and just be honest with yourself.
You have already cheated and set this up for failure, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Nikolai Jokic, the center for the Portland Trailblazers.
Oh,
Nurkic.
Yeah, I'm taking Jokic. Yeah, I'll take Jokic. I like Jokic.
Nurkic is nice.
I like.
You're taking Nurkic.
Yes, he's a bucket, bro.
He is a bucket. Do you know that he averages less points and a worse field goal percentage than Rudy Gobert?
He doesn't play the
career.
Yes.
Or last season.
Yeah, but he
career.
also doesn't play the
And
amount
last
of minutes that Rudy Gobert does because
He actually plays more minutes than Rudy
I don't
Gobert.
believe that because he was splitting time with Hassan Whiteside.
Hassan Whiteside plays for the Jazz.
Yeah, this is his first year with the Jazz, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, prior to
Prior to that, he was splitting time, and they were never on the court at the
But
same
last
time.
year, Rudy Gobert still had more points than Nurkic, and Nurkic played more games.
Okay.
But we're still taking Nurkic. We're taking Nurkic.
Yes.
All right.
I'm at 4.
Brooke Lopez or Rudy Gobert.
Ooh, I'm taking Brooke, man.
Who is scoring on Giannis and Rudy Gobert?
Give me a Brooke, man. Huh?
Who's scoring on Giannis and Rudy Gobert?
Clearly the Celtics.
Because Brooke Lopez was the one that was down there.
That ain't
Or Brooks Lopez.
He was ready. This man was ready for this, man. I'm at 5.
I mean, does Gobert really make
You're at
that
4
much?
right now.
Does he really make a difference, though?
Gobert is one of the most impactful defensive players this last generation.
He plays the perimeter well, though?
He does not.
Nope. When they put them switch
does
off
not.
that cook,
He does
that
not.
cook.
Does Brooke Lopez play amazing perimeter defense?
No. I'm just saying neither. So that to me is.
But what I'm saying is, like, in the paint, like, he's literally a
Yeah.
generational
Yeah.
type of defensive talent.
Same height as the hoop, bro. What do you want from this man?
So because you're the same height, that means makes you better. Like, so
No,
Sean
I'm just
Bradley.
saying. I'm just saying, if you're gonna I need a bucket. If I'm throwing you the ball and you can stop me.
How many points do you think that Rudy Gobert averages per game?
7.
What if I told you that you were grossly underestimating the amount of points that he averages? Do you want to take a guess, Bmizz? How many points Rudy Gobert averages per game? Because you want to talk about buckets.
Mm-hmm.
You say 7 points.
I would say Rudy Gobert probably on that team because I think he would probably be the third option offensively.
He is the third option.
Third option.
So probably, I'm saying roughly 15 to 17 points a game.
19.8 points per game.
How many of that is fluctuated by like the really good game?
I'm sorry.
A bunch of mediocre games.
Does it matter how you get your points, or does it matter that you score the points?
No, because if you're going over the season, and like those numbers can be skewed. Like, because if I have a bunch, like the average is playing out.
Are we playing this game? Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, because you gotta play the game. I'm gonna bring my game into it too.
Go ahead,
if I ball on a Tuesday and a Thursday, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in impactful games
Mm-hmm.
when we need a win. Then the numbers are slated because you still end up being trash. It's the same way when they like give J.R. Smith or some other players a hard time because they say they're inconsistent. Because R.J. Barrett will give you 40 in the first half and be like, yo, this boy's balling. Then he finishes the game with 44 and they lose the game. Like it doesn't add up to me. So them averages are cool and they cute, but when it comes down to me needing you, all right, so you wanted to get tough when we was in the cafeteria and security and the principal was there to help everything out. Now we see these kids outside and I really need you and you took off on me.
So the whole point of an average is to add up the amount of points that you score and then divide them by the games that you play to show that when you're on the court, you are more than likely going to give me this amount of points. 19.8 points is 20 points per game. So if like half the game I'm giving you 40 and half of the games I'm giving you 15, at the end of the day, I still give you 20 points per game. Regardless of how it comes. You can account that I'm most likely going to give you 20 points per game because that's how averages work.
So I was choosing between, that's terrible. I was choosing between who?
Okay, the whole average thing. I mean,
There's Brooke Lopez and Rudy Gobert.
I don't know if I really agree on the whole average thing because
I mean, you don't talk about
it. Wait, hold on. Go ahead, man. Let's talk
I mean, if we're going off of that, I mean, I can really cook Bagless Brown this past season. I mean, that man was balling sure the first 3 quarters, but then the fourth quarter he was nowhere to be found. So if you're gonna use that analogy,
I mean, yes.
This was a scoring champ.
So wait.
Or was alleged scoring champ because he missed too many games or something.
So you're telling me that if we play in a game, right?
Yeah.
And I give you 45 points. If I gave you 40 points in the first quarter and only score 5 points the rest of the game,
and lost,
it is worse than if I scored 8 points per quarter. So if I give you 8 points every quarter, it's better than if I scored 40 in one quarter and then 5 the rest of the game. Yeah. Or does it matter because it's 40 points?
No. Timing in a game matters. When you show up in a game matters. So I would much rather.
So if I show up in the beginning of the game and I carry us for the beginning of the game, that doesn't matter because everybody else doesn't perform for the second half of the game?
You still lost. If you could give me 40.
So wins and losses are more important.
Listen. You play to win the game.
So the Utah
What I'm
Jazz,
saying is,
okay,
listen, if you give me 40 in the first half and 40 in the second half, I am tight. I don't care about your 44 points. Where were you when I needed you?
I gave you 40 points.
Yes, and then you disappeared.
Did I disappear?
Like,
did I disappear?
If you give me 40 in the first half, as a coach, the second half, I'm thinking we're riding the hot hand. We have something that you – no, listen, don't tell me I can't do that because I've done it before. Like, all right, we're going to filter through the hot hand. So I'm not saying you got to give me another 40, but 4 is unacceptable. You can't just go cold on me because you are the one that's getting us over the hill. And then we got there and you decided to turn around.
Did I decide to turn around or did the defense adjust because this is what the game has been? If I'm cooking, this is the Luka Doncic thing right now. Luka Doncic scored 27 points and a half, or like he'll do what he does. And then the defense will be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And then if Luka doesn't score anymore, but everybody else starts scoring because that's the way the defense adjusts, does that have more to do with Luka or does it have to do with the defense adjustment? Does it matter because he gave us the points that we needed to make them adjust? Because that's the whole point. The game is all about adjustments.
No, I get it. You do adjust. But if we're facilitating through you, you can still make the awareness to understand that you still have to produce in the second half. So if I got 4 because they made the defensive adjustment, right?
Yep.
All right, then scoring is not it. I need to start distributing. I need to start playing defense. And as the game begins to break down, because now they're worried about me, they're now giving up buckets to somebody else. Now, when it comes back to me, I get those little buckets, a putback, a layup, some free throws. You don't just score 4 in the second half because they locked you down. You are missing a lot of shots.
The game has moved different.
You're missing a lot of shots. I've watched the Luka games when he's like not producing in the second half or the third or the fourth quarter. Like, listen, he's missing good looks. Okay. All right. So I don't want to hear none of that. Like, you want to be the guy flexing, looking at people crazy, talking to you got your 20-point lead. What you say? Put your own words in your mouth. Everybody want to act tough when they up. Front runners.
But like that's basketball.
He used a word. I know he about to try to circle back to that front runner word. He said front runner. I know where he's going with that. Y'all dudes be tripping, man. Y'all be trying to use the. All right, listen.
I just think that we're going a little bit crazy where it's just like the points don't matter if like you don't get the dub, because then it's like, what's the point of like, you know, league leaders or any of this stuff in the first place? Because Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers of all time, and it's like he gets bounced in the first round. Does that mean he's not a great scorer, or like because they don't finish the game because like he's tired and exhausted from like exerting all his effort like in the first half? Because like these people are human. They do break down. All that stuff happens. Like a lot of people just ain't made for that.
Help. What did Coach?
Yes, that's the point.
What did Coach Boone tell Petey?
Come on.
What did Coach Boone tell
What
Petey?
did Coach Boone
You
tell
want to be a star? Give me a star effort. All right, don't be sometimey. What Janet Jackson got a dope song. How's it go?
I'm giving you.
Janet Jackson got a dope song.
All for you, if you really want it.
No.
I get so lonely.
I was talking about what have you done for me lately. All right, so let's move on to the next center.
Well, what has he done for you lately? He was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. He's averaged 20 points per game. He shoots 60% from the field, and he's one of the most impactful defensive players of this generation.
That's dope. Where was all that in the playoffs?
They were the what? 5th seed? 4th seed? 5th seed?
Answer the question.
He got beat by Luka. The same thing that you can say about the Suns, the same thing that you can say about all these other things. They wound up getting beat by Luka. That's what happened.
So, what center is on the Mavericks?
Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell.
So, are you choosing them over Rudy Gobert?
I am not.
So why did he not execute against either of those centers in the playoffs?
But he did. He still averaged a certain amount of points, like in the game. But when in the game that we play today, threes are law. Okay. So like if you score 2 points and you score 14 points or like whatever you do, and then I do the same amount of shots and they're threes, then you're we're gonna go away from you and we're gonna go to threes because that's game script. Okay. It's like we're behind and we have to catch up, so we have to shoot more 3-pointers. That is not his forte. That is not his skill set. But he has to cover also everybody in there because Donovan Mitchell does not play great defense. Mike Conley is not the same person that he was defensively. Bogdanovich is not the same person. So he has to cover all these areas on the floor. And his job is to be a spot-up shooter.
It's called caping.
It's called facts.
It's called facts. Brother's caping for Rudy Gobert.
Okay, and you're caping for who? Yusuf Nurkic right now? Because Nurkic has done nothing.
Nobody. I'm just keeping it real. Rudy Gobert was trash.
But
go ahead. Who's next? All right, we digress.
Jared Allen.
Huh?
Jared Allen.
Ooh, that's my boy.
Why is Jared Allen your boy? Why is Jared Allen your boy?
Look at this guy.
Because my thing is, I just don't understand why guys who do the same thing who quote unquote do the same thing that he does, but worse, you like them better.
No, he's got less minutes, bro, and he
does not have less minutes. He does not.
No, he's not with the Nets anymore.
He's with Cleveland. He's with Cleveland. He does not.
I believe he was in the KD trade. No, not the KD trade. He was in a 3-team trade.
For Rajon Rondo, or they had to make space for the Ben Simmons, and that's how. Or not Ben Simmons.
Right.
James Harden.
Right.
Harden.
James Harden.
Yeah, he was in the Harden.
He's on Cleveland. He was an All-Star this year, also.
Yes, he was.
He was an All-Star this year.
He was an All-Star reserve, but he was an All-Star.
Okay, so was Andrew Wiggins.
No, Andrew Wiggins was an All-Star starter.
Yeah, I know. I get it. So whatever.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to get behind this idea of like, why do you like guys that do somewhat of the same thing that he does, but worse, but you just like them better? This is the Mitchell Robinsons that I'm talking about. This is Jared Allen that I'm talking about. Like they are worse versions of Rudy Gobert, but you like them more. But like why? Trash. But like if he's trash and they're worse than him, what does that make them?
They're not worse than him.
Why are they not worse than him?
That's why I picked them over him.
Because like
you're asking me.
Because if we're using the things is like you're scoring these amount of points and like why aren't you guys getting wins? Explain the Knicks record with Mitchell Robinson.
Because the Knicks are terrible across the board.
Okay.
We don't have a leader. We don't have a premier scorer. We don't have
Julius Randle was third-team All-NBA last year.
Pumpkin.
I mean, that's what you call it. But it's like, even if that's the case, he should still be able to do his job though, right? He should be able to block shots and do all the stuff that you're asking him to do. Yeah. But he's a foul king because he doesn't do what he does.
Inconsistent, yes.
Yes.
Pumpkin.
I'm talking about Mitchell Robinson right now.
Oh,
yeah, I'm talking about Mitchell Robinson.
I mean, listen, man, the kid's young. He's figuring it out. He just put on some.
Mitchell Robinson is only 2 years younger than Rudy Gobert.
Yes, I know.
He's not much younger
in the NBA. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying because you've been in the league for 6 years and you've done what in those 6 years?
2 of those years he didn't even play. He was injured.
Oh, man, there's a lot of stories behind why other people are terrible.
It's the same stories for Rudy Gobert. So can we get to the rest of these centers?
All right, fine. All right, we did Brook Lopez.
Okay.
We were at Jared Allen.
Oh, we didn't make a decision, right?
No, you did not.
I'll go Rudy, just so you get off my back and we don't have to.
I mean, you can be honest.
30 minutes.
We're here to be honest.
Be honest?
Yeah. I'm just being honest. So what you got? We're going Rudy?
Yeah, we're going Rudy.
Okay. Time Lord.
I'm going Time Lord because I got the jersey on.
You have to? That's the only reason? So if you found out there was a straight up trade in the offseason, Time Lord for Rudy Gobert, you wouldn't be like, damn, that's an upgrade.
You asking me?
Yeah.
You decided to. You said, heck no. You said,
I'm just asking.
Stop looking at this jersey like that, damn. All right? This jersey's coming off as soon as we say
Nikolai Vucevic.
That's for
the Chicago Bulls. He's a bucket.
Yeah, he is.
You do like bucket guys for some reason.
Yeah. He's not all that good defensively.
He's not good defensively.
Oh man, it's kind of crazy how that works.
Defensively.
Kind of crazy.
That's so tough. Man, that's so tough.
It is tough.
He is a defensive lineman. All right, I'll go Rudy.
Yeah, I'm going Rudy too on that one.
Okay. Bam Adebayo.
Bam.
Okay. Why Bam? I'm just asking.
No. That's what we got to do every time.
I'm just asking.
This man scripted how he was.
I'm asking the question.
Preparation.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I went to court.
Because I know who
the defense had an argument.
My thing is, I know who the last 3 guys are, and I know which way you guys are going with the last 3 guys. So, like, I'm asking
the other 3 guys.
I'm just saying, like, why Bam? Like, why Bam? Like, why Bam? Why Bam?
Because I can depend on him
to do
everything. Yeah. Thank you.
Bam shows up in the playoffs.
Does he?
Yeah. Does he? I
got the numbers.
Because Rudy Gobert's averages are above Bam Adebayo's averages in the offseason, in the postseason, and the regular season.
And yet Rudy goes home every time before Bam.
It does, because Bam's team around him is just better. Am I wrong? Like Jimmy Butler and Donovan Mitchell, it's probably Donovan Mitchell, right?
But
But then you go to the next person.
With Bam, he elevates his team.
Okay, but then you got your Kyle Lowry, you got your Tyler Hero. You got
this is Kyle Lowry's first year.
Rudy doesn't.
I didn't say he's on the team.
Right.
It's like, would you rather have Mike Conley or Kyle Lowry?
And he's only played like 2 games this playoff.
Rudy isn't a team.
Do you think that the Jazz roster is better than the Heat roster?
Sheesh, we digress. I mean, it depends on the type of team that you like to build, but
here it goes. It depends on what you like to build. What team is better? What team has better players?
This whole conversation is based on that, like with the type of center that you want, and who do you think is better than Rudy Gobert? But if I'm looking at the Jazz, don't have a bad roster.
You have not been doing it. What type of center you want? You're just being like, I like this person more. Like, you're not doing like this person is actually better. You're like, I just like this person more because there's no evidence to prove certain centers are better than Rudy Gobert, but you just like this person more.
I know there's no evidence to prove anything other than how they impact their team.
Are we going? So you guys are going Bam. You guys are going Bam.
Yes, Rudy Gobert does not impact his team.
So the last 3 guys
need him, he does not show up.
The last 3 guys are Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic.
Oh yes,
which you're whatchamacallit. So those are like 3 automatic guys.
11.
He literally is the 10th person on this list that you've made. He's the 10th person.
Nope, he's 11th.
Jokic, Embiid, Towns, Bam, Time Lord, Brook Lopez, Nurkic, Wiseman, Mitchell Robinson, and Miles Turner. That's 10.
So that makes Rudy 11.
I added Rudy as the first person. That makes him the 10th person. He's the 10th person on this list.
No, you just counted off 10 people.
All right, so he's 11th.
So he's 11th.
So out of the 30 centers in the league, he's the 11th best center, so that makes him trash.
That just means that you asked me if he was top 10, and I said no.
And I agree with that point.
In a room
You're right. He's not the 10th. He's not one of the 10 best centers in the league. If you're the 11th center in a 30-center league, are you trash?
Yes.
Okay. I guess if that's your definition of it, I guess.
If you had said a guard or a 2 or 3, I get it. Like those guys are all over the place. But when it's hard to find a center, you know what I mean? It's like it's easy to be better than.
It's hard to find a defensive player of the year level center.
I know that's why he was not defensive player of the year.
He was the runner-up, but he was back-to-back defensive player of the year last year, or not the last year before.
And what happened both years that he was defensive player of the year?
So when you win defensive player of the year, that automatically means you win a championship?
No. I'm just saying you should do more than get bounced in the first or second round.
I don't think you understand how awards work, because like that's not how it happens. Like just because like you win a certain award or a certain title, that doesn't automatically mean you win a championship. Because last time I checked, the best player does not win a championship. The best team does. Okay. So like you can't just be everything.
I'm not saying
because the MVPs doesn't win the championship every year either, and that's the most valuable. I'm
saying if you are out here star-studded winning awards, then when it's time for you to show up and I need you to be there, then freaking be there.
So if you're there and the other team is just better, what are you supposed to do?
They have lost to teams that were not better though.
Like the Mavericks?
You would take
the Mavericks just beat the #1 team in the West.
You did not pick the Mavs over the Jazz.
I did not. I didn't think they were
so what are you talking about?
Just because I didn't think another team would beat another team doesn't mean that like you shouldn't lose.
I get it.
These are playoff level
any
teams.
given game, any given Sunday. We digress. Yeah. We apologize for that. This is what happens when we talk sports.
There is only one #1 seed still in these playoffs.
I feel like we spent so much time on this. We may not have time to talk about this jersey.
I know we have plenty of time. We don't make time. What you got? Well, go ahead. Go off.
I forgot what I was going to say.
No. You were getting your rocks off. You were saying that like you should perform if you're so good that you should be able to get past certain
things. And what I'm saying is like that's where I'm at with it. Like if you are leading the league in something, or if you are quote unquote the superstar, or if you're getting stuff done, and this is not just to Rudy Gobert. I gave Jason Tatum a hard time. I give other people a hard time. Like if you're going to say you're going to be the guy, then just be the guy. You can't say, oh, it was a tough playoffs or it was this. I'm going to be critical of Chris Paul too. Right. Like you can't say you're the guy in this, that, and the third. And then when your team needs what you're good at, you don't perform.
What about Nikola Jokic?
Okay.
Who was the MVP? We both agreed he was the MVP of this year. And he got smoked by the Warriors. Yeah. Because the team is just better than he is. And he's still putting out the effort that he could put out. And the games still aren't even close.
Okay. So that's not the same situation for Rudy Gobert.
Why is it not?
Because they lost to a team that was not better than them.
But that's your opinion that they're not better than them. But like
that's our opinion because you picked the Jazz over the Mavericks.
All right, so like when you say someone's better, that means that like you shouldn't be able to beat them because like this person is better than your team, right?
Oh, okay.
So like, is Luka, who we said now is like the second best player like left in the playoffs?
So you're telling me
is there a player on the Jazz roster that's better than Luka Doncic?
No.
So like he's the best player on the floor.
You're gonna lose the one player.
They did, and so did the Phoenix Suns.
They did not lose the one player.
The Phoenix Suns lost.
They did not lose.
What's his name? 30 that night.
What's his name? What's his name?
Came out the woodworks.
What's his name?
Dorian Smith.
Yes.
You're just saying that because he just gave you a name. Did you mean Jalen Brunson?
No.
Just now you say that because you want to prove me wrong. It's like, yo, you can win.
Because Hobie came out the woodworks and dropped 30 that night.
What the hell are you talking about? That was
for the Mavs.
Jalen Brunson.
Okay, that's what I thought. So I was right, and you were just agreeing with it because you didn't want me to be right.
No. Dorian definitely dropped 30 as well. Like, there's a lot of guys around the Mavs.
When Lucas
was it 27? I'm sorry, it wasn't exact 30.
Shine as well.
Because he's so good, he makes everyone focus on him, and then everybody else goes off, right? The same thing that happened to the Utah Jazz.
No, Rudy didn't make anybody around him better.
No. I'm saying is like Luka did the same thing that he's doing now. He did it against the Suns, and he did it against the Jazz. So like, why are we surprised that like a player who's just greater?
If you're asking me, I don't think the Mavs won all these series because they played great. I think they won because everybody else played terrible. Like Chris Paul was bad. Mm-hmm. Devin Booker, when they really needed him, was bad. Like Rudy Gobert and the Jazz were bad. Like, so they don't even look like they wanted to wear the same jersey together. Like they looked bad.
So this is the difference between the NBA playoffs and the NFL playoffs. And the NFL playoffs are one game. And in any one game, a team that is good can be bad, but like whatchamacallit, like and then they can have like a good night and so on and so forth. Anybody can win. When it's a 7-game series,
you comes back back to that word raisins baby.
When you have to win 4 games,
consistency.
That means, yes, it's consistency, but it's also like if this is what you are out of the 7 games, then that's what you are, right? It's not just like, oh well, they play bad. It's like, did they play bad because like they were trash for 4 games, or because like the way that the team made them play, it's like they were just not on their P's and Q's. Coaching matters, lineups matter, matchups matter, all that stuff matters, and they had no one to stop this one guy. And then when they tried to do certain things, like he spread the ball around to like these other guys because Luka is that good. So what I'm saying is like to say just because like my team, so like we're talking about like better and like who's better, who's this, who's that. If I beat you 4 out of 7 games, does that not make me better?
I'm not answering this question.
Why is it dead silent?
This question.
Bmizz has something he wanted to say. Let me get it up.
So I've never been sold on the Jazz. Like, I mean, my thing is the Jazz as a team, to me, they are the James Harden of teams. They're going to ball out in the regular season, but when it matters in the playoffs, they're nowhere to be found. And they've just been like that for the last couple of years. I mean, when's the last time they've been in the Western Conference Finals or were like legit? Like, what? To me, the Jazz, when I saw that series, I said, you know what, Dallas has a shot at winning that series because, first of all, I felt like they were kind of evenly matched. And usually that 4 or 5 matchup is always, you know, good competition, good ball in the first round. Those are usually the most competitive series. So I just wasn't sold on the Jazz, and I haven't been for a while. I love Donovan Mitchell. He's one of my favorite players in the league, but I don't see them staying in.
Why is Donovan Mitchell one of your favorite players in the league? He doesn't get it done. No, he gets bounced in the first round all the time.
He does, but I mean, I just like his swag. To me, I just like his swag. I like I enjoyed him in the dunk contest a few years back. Like, I just like his swag and his persona. That aspect, you know, because his game improve and be better and stuff like that, of course. But he's still young. He's still figuring out the league. So
yeah, shot selection is a little off. Mm-hmm. If you figure that out, he'd be all right.
And like I'll never forget that bubble performance between him and Jamal Murray when they each had like 50 in like the first round. That game was crazy.
It was crazy. Mm-hmm. But they wound up losing in 7. What I'm saying is like he's supposed to be the leader.
That was a different Nuggets team, though.
He was supposed to be the leader of this team, right? He's the best player on the team.
Sure.
So why does like Rudy Gobert get all the stuff thrown on him and not Donovan Mitchell? Because Donovan Mitchell didn't play great.
I'm not saying that Donovan didn't. What I'm saying is the beginning of the conversation was about Rudy. If it was a Donovan conversation, then we'd be doing this about Donovan. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was Rudy. I'm not saying that it's all Rudy's fault. You're just asking me if I like Rudy, and I'm saying no, I think he's trash, and he doesn't show up when it matters most. If you were to say, well, what about Donovan Mitchell? I think his shot selection needs some reconsideration, because in times and games where they do get the lead cut down or they have a good lead, then he takes reckless threes when he should be getting to the basket to try to get to the line. He doesn't do well with involving other players into the game. He does do a lot of trying to get the ball to Rudy, and Rudy usually lets him down in those situations. So that 1-2 punch usually falls flat.
The games because of the points that he scored. He hit the game winner.
Who passed him the ball?
So now it matters who gets you the ball.
No, what I'm saying is Donovan had the defense converge on it. It was like 2-3 guys. He made the basketball play, and Rudy barely made that layup.
Barely made. If you win by an inch or a mile,
listen.
The great Dominic Toretto said that himself.
You say whatever you want to say. That man Rudy caught that ball and was like, "Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up." It wasn't bro. That man could have dunked that joint, screamed, banged on his chest. That man, he's not that guy. He's that guy. To be honest with you, when Donovan gave him the ball, I was like, he's about to smoke this layup.
Yes, because that is not his forte. He
layups?
Is not a scorer.
Layups?
He's not a scorer.
Layups?
He dunked it.
Layups?
And got it and won and made the free throw.
Yes, layups.
He makes them. He shoots 60% from the field.
Bro, I get it. So what's happening with the other 40%? or how consistent?
I don't think you understand how. What do you think that big men shoot in the league? They don't shoot 80% from the field. Yeah, that's not how it works.
Listen. Okay.
Shaquille O'Neal, in his prime, was shooting 65% from the field. That's his prime. You can't score every single basket in the paint. And he doesn't have low post.
You brought Shaq's name into this, man, because I know when that ball goes into Shaq and I need a bucket and I'm depending on him.
That's not true, because in the fourth quarter, Shaq was a liability all the time, which is why they were always having issues because of that. With Shaquille O'Neal, he was constantly getting taken out in the fourth quarter. That's what the Hack-a-Shaq stuff was for.
So you're taking Rudy over Shaq.
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
And what I'm saying
I was just asking.
We're talking about strictly about field goal percentages and stuff like that. It's you got to make these shots. It's he makes a large percentage of the shots.
You're talking field goal percentages. Yeah. I'm talking Rudy.
You're saying you got to make a layup. A layup is a shot. And what I'm saying is 60% of the time, he makes whatever shot that he takes.
Yes, that's 60% is regular season.
So no, it's not. It's both playoffs and regular season.
I don't believe
you're just saying that.
I want to look up the numbers.
Go right ahead.
I don't want.
You want to take some time?
I don't want this Joel-led. No, we're not going to digress.
Why not?
We still have some stuff to get through.
You want to make a wager?
We still have the ugly of the in-laws that we got to get through. We're not about to do this right now.
I said you can look it up while we talk about this Warriors game.
Tailoring this stuff to be a layup for him to get a hand shook out here. I'm not doing it right now. I'm not doing it. Get your hand away. I'm not doing it. All right, let's get to this Warriors game. This man took us down a road that we almost did not get back.
As an ending verdict, Rudy Gobert is the 11th best center in the NBA, which makes him trash.
Which ultimately means that I was right. But
it does. It means Razor was 100% right.
That's not what I'm saying.
By a jury of his own peers, you're correct. You're right.
This is what I will shake your hand on. Okay. We'll make some Rudy Gobert type lines. We won't do it right now. You go to your lab and decide on some Rudy Gobert lines. I'm pretty sure there'll be percentages and games.
I won't even do that.
All right.
I'll be he averages 15 and 10.
I'll make some Rudy Gobert lines. We'll pick maybe 3 to 5 between those. Something that we can all, and whoever wins the most out of those.
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yes.
What is a good big man stat line? If I was you're a good big man, you have to average this amount of points, this amount of rebounds.
We're not doing it.
Why not?
We're not doing it. This
Why
is
not?
What he does too, Miz. Those spur of the moments questions. This is not a freestyle question. This is how he planned on ending this.
15 and 8?
I'm not trying to
15 and 8?
I'm not trying to hear this, man. Win a playoff.
20 and 10?
Win some playoff games. Please be there for me.
20 and 10?
Please be there for me. Please be there for me. Yo, we went out to eat. I paid for your food. Great. My light's about to get cut off. Can I hold a couple dollars? I don't got it, but you do. Be there when I need you.
Michael Jordan used to get swept in the first round too. I'm just saying, it happens.
Here we go.
I just said it happens.
You helping? You help.
It does. It happens.
Look, before this turns into a LeBron MJ conversation. Look, he said, don't do it. Don't do it. Look at him. Yo, Bmizz, don't do it, because he's waiting. He's waiting for this.
Warriors and Mavericks.
Yes.
They went to so Warriors are up 2-0.
I'm gonna say it just like this. Warriors are doing exactly what the Suns were supposed to do. And just let Luka do whatever he wants and make sure there's no complimentary to the steak. Like, you just got a plate just with steak. You don't got no greens. You don't got no mashed potatoes. You don't even got a bev. All right, that is not a good sitting. All right, you get halfway through that steak, you're gonna get bothered. Right, you gonna mess around, you're gonna get bothered. All right, you don't got nothing to taper that with. You don't got nothing to drink. It's like that's literally what they're doing. Like I've seen sometimes where he drives the lane, and I've seen defenders instantly find the closest guy to get to that guy, and then whoever's there to try to challenge Luka's shot, let's challenge it. But we're not gonna do it. Luka, you could look at fans and talk crazy and all that extra stuff and average 40 for this series. You're also going to average an L. The Suns had the roadmap and they went away from it. And then they got flustered and then they started being inconsistent, which happens in the playoffs. Sometimes you have that bad game, but they had several bad games. And then they didn't continue to stick with the plan because they got flustered. I don't know if that's a coaching thing or a player thing because I feel like Monty had them boys where they needed to be, so I'm not putting it on Monty. That's just me. But I like I said, I think it's Warriors in 4.
I think Dallas gets a game.
You think Dallas gets a game?
I think they'll get a game.
A Dallas game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll get a game.
If they do, it's because the Warriors let them get it so that they can finish the series and Golden State.
Possibly, yeah. I'm not.
Look at Joel's face. I need to know what you're holding over there, please.
I was just letting everybody get their points off.
Yeah, but that face says something else. Come on, let's go.
I'm enjoying the conversation.
I don't believe you. I feel like, so you mean if Rudy Gobert
Rudy Gobert was on these Mavericks, so they stand a better chance. I'm messing with you.
I was gonna say yes. I was gonna say yes, but they would still get their face handed off because we know how Rudy is in the playoffs. But the Mavs got to figure it out. They literally have to win games by outscoring the Warriors because it doesn't matter who you take away. Somebody's going to be able to score the ball, whether it's Jordan Poole, whether it's Klay Thompson. Draymond's going to get his 8 to 12. Steph is going to be Steph. Like, okay, yeah, we're not worried about taking away Draymond, but
those are some wild numbers for Draymond.
All right, my bad. 5 to 7. Doesn't feel better for you.
That man last night had 4 points.
There you go.
There's 6 fouls and like what you call it, and 7 turnovers. It was crazy. He almost had a triple double. Like it was crazy. These are real numbers. I'm not mixing.
This is real. This is real life. So if I'm the Mavericks, then I'm hard nosed to take away the shooters and then see if I can lose to Draymond or see if I can lose to one of these, like to Andrew Wiggins. You know what I mean? But
Andrew Wiggins is giving us some buckets too.
Yeah, he does. But it's like he's also another.
Porter giving a bucket, and Andrew Wiggins has been taking the main assignment on guarding Luka.
Yeah, but you got to think like if I have to choose between Steph, Jordan, and Klay, and Draymond, Otto Porter, and Wiggins, what 3 are you choosing to let get free?
Well, that's the difference between good teams and great teams. Like good teams, like you can choose who you want to go, but like great teams are like, now you're gonna get this Steph, regardless of whatever you think is going on.
Right. And there were a couple times where they doubled down on Steph, and Steph was like, "No, I'm just gonna take this little step to the left, and I'm still gonna pull this 3, and I'm gonna hit it, and it's gonna be a dagger." And it's just like that. You're right, though. That's championship caliber basketball. But I just feel like the Mavericks are just running around, and it's kind of disappointing only because like, you know, the type of player that Jason Kidd was. And I know you can't coach people to play the way you play, but you can scheme. But I just feel like the Mavericks haven't figured it out defensively. Like when they beat the Suns, I don't think they beat the Suns because they played great defense. I just think the Suns were terrible offensively. And right now they don't know where to be and how to get there. Like sometimes, like I know it's the Warriors and guys are going to end up wide open like Klay and Steph and Jordan Poole and stuff like that. But a lot of the times when they're wide open, like guys generally do not know where these guys are. Like, how do you not know where Klay is? How do you not know where Steph is? How do you not know where Jordan Poole is? Like, you should be watching film and be like, oh, the double screen, he's running all the way through, popping out for the ball, but he's not actually the one that's going to shoot because he's going to drive the lane and kick it to the corner to Klay so he can get the jumper. You're not figuring this stuff out. Like, dudes are sinking in the paint because they want to stop Steph so bad, and you leaving Klay in the corner, or you're letting Draymond drive off the wing to kick it out to Andrew Wiggins so he can get his random 3 in. Like, they're not figuring it out defensively, and that's why I say they don't have a chance to, like, of course we know they're not going to beat the Warriors, but, like, can't see them winning a game if they continue at this rate.
Well said.
What is up with this guy?
Like,
man? No.
I wasn't even gonna say that. I was just trying to segue to the next thing. But
that's what you're doing. He's trying to save time for this Time Lord jersey.
No, it's just like I feel like you hit all the points and there's not much to say. So like, why try to make up something to say when it's already out there?
Right. So we're gonna head on over to the Blitz.
We can do that. Man, get out of my way because Time Lord is here. Oh, man. It's already, it's that time of the year. Ravens over here rocking Celtics gear. So let's talk about the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics with two of the players on the all-defensive team list with Time Lord and Marcus Smart. They recently got Marcus Smart and Al Horford back. And I think the results were kind of like what we called it. Is like they kind of showed the Heat. It's like you guys won by 11 or 9 points the first game, and you have to do that off of Jimmy Butler. Miami. Yeah. But what I'm saying is like Jimmy Butler having to score almost 40 and stuff like that, and it's just like now
and I brought it up. I was like, I'm really still need to see what this team looks like when Marcus Smart gets back. I want to see how he was on the ankle. I don't even know where the injury was because this kid was like all over the place on the floor. Al Horford came back. He was he was in safety protocol, so I'm assuming maybe it was the flu or COVID or something like that. So it wasn't worried about like none of that. But it's like I don't know. I'll throw a question out there. Like we'll get back to the game, but it's just like who do you get rid of off of this team? Because you can't keep all of these guys.
Talk about the Celtics?
Yes, you can't keep all of these guys. So you have to make a decision. They're not getting rid of Tatum. So it leaves Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford.
Well, they're all on long-term deals right now. Like Al Horford's like the only one who's like his deal's getting ready to expire, and like he'll just jump down because he has like a $28 million contract or something like that.
You think he doesn't go to get paid?
No. Who's paying him? They literally got him for trading Kemba Walker in a second-round pick. Like that's how they got Al Horford in the first place. Thunder were trying to get rid of him, and nobody wanted him.
He loves Boston. He's not going nowhere.
He's going nowhere.
Right,
who's gonna give him the money?
We'll see. I think the Celtics teams look different next year. But if you're asking me like the difference, like
if the Celtics win this year, you still think that they look different next year?
No, if they win, no, not at all.
So like,
but if you lose, you have to consider like what are you missing or like what is not working to get you over that championship hump.
Well, it seems like it's been Marcus Smart. It's like the guy that always is floating around like in trade rumors because like his contract is the most tradable. And it's like before this year, he was pretty inconsistent shooting wise, but they made him more of a playmaker and less of a shooter. And it's like, I think that he's been making great. That was one of the big things I saw from this game is the decision making was just better. Instead of Derek White and Peyton Pritchard making the plays, it was Marcus Smart getting a lot of Time Lord baskets, getting a lot of things inside the paint, making sure the Al Horford and these guys are getting touches and stuff like that. So like the ball's just moving differently, not even adding like what he adds defensively, stuff like that.
They look different when he's
Derek White also.
I'm not gonna be a hater today. I got the jersey on. I'm not gonna be a hater today.
If I'm not mistaken, don't you have some words about the Celtics that you need to say like as well? Like, didn't that come with the jersey? Didn't you have to like give some sort of dissertation on like how good the Celtics were, something like that?
No.
Am I incorrect?
Not at all. If anything, I believe you had to say something, and Bmizz let you off the hook.
I didn't have to say anything. I didn't make a bet.
Oh, okay. All right. All I know is I didn't have to say anything. I just had to wear the jersey. All right. So, what I will say though, is the newest thing that I've heard, and what a lot of people are saying, I think is what you were going to segue to, is this team a legitimate team to contend with the Warriors if and given that is the matchup in the finals?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That actually wasn't what my segue was. Please
elaborate.
They have the defensive. Like their defense is what's going to keep them in the game. Because Boston.
So I like matchups.
Yes, Boston. So from time to time,
put Marcus Smart on who?
Huh?
Put Marcus Smart on who?
Curry.
Okay. You put Jason Tatum on Clay. I'm assuming.
Could put Clay or Wiggins. Don't matter.
All right. So you're putting Jaylen Brown on Jordan Poole or Wiggins?
Probably Jordan Poole.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Wiggins is still left free. So that fourth guy, he's getting guarded by
no. Tatum would go to Wiggins.
Go to Wiggins. So Clay's freed up.
So no, Jordan Poole doesn't start.
You're right.
Yeah, he doesn't start.
Right. So I'm
trying to think your lineup.
So it's Steph, Clay, Draymond,
Andrew Wiggins.
Who's the fifth? Come on, Joey, help me out.
What happened? You said Draymond, Clay, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and then Looney.
Looney. Okay, so you probably throw
Time Lord on Looney. Or Draymond. You can put him on either. Al Horford goes on.
You're probably better off putting him on Draymond.
Yeah.
And then Al Horford goes Looney. Okay, so bro, this brother is tripping.
I totally forgot where I was.
Yeah, this brother is tripping. This man is about to get drop kicked and his allergies. You don't cut it out over there. Bring
I
yourself.
wouldn't have allergies if somebody ain't give me COVID.
You don't have COVID.
Let's get back to the Celtics talk, please. Let's not deviate. Let's go back to where we're at. Please.
So I'll pass it over to you, Joel. But this is not Celtics hate. I don't feel like what the Celtics are doing is something that can be sustainable over a 7-game series against the Warriors. They have proven that they can do it against the Bucks. But the Bucks were also missing. We'll start with Brooklyn. They were able to do it against Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Brooklyn was in shambles. They were able to do it against the Bucks. Bucks was missing Chris Middleton. It does change things. I think the series looks different with him there, but we're not going to do that what ifs with guys that are not there. They are now trying to prove it against Miami. We got game 3 tonight, which I think is a very impactful game to see how things go. But if you're talking the Warriors, I just feel like they have too much weaponry, and it's just like the Celtics have a core group of guys that they can depend on. And I don't know, like as far as like championship experience, I don't think Tatum's going to back down. We know Marcus Smart's not going to back down. Jaylen Brown, I think, is a dog. Al Horford does have some experience, but like as far as like those other role players that have really been helping to get the Celtics over the hump in some of these games, they may fade to black, but that's just me. And like I said, that's not hate. That's like the long road of it.
I just feel like they have enough defensive people on that team to compete with Golden State. Like you got Derek White coming off the bench. You got Grant Williams coming off the bench. So even Aaron Nesmith the other night came off and had an amazing block on somebody at the rim. So I'm just like,
Tyler Hero had a dope one too that they called a foul, but
that was a clean block.
That was a chase down.
Yeah, that was a clean block.
That was terrible. Mind you, that was the turning point of the game.
It was.
So but we won't get there. Joel, what you think?
But I was with you. Like you cut off my segue.
My bad.
You thought that I was.
It wasn't me. It was Bam.
You thought no, it was you. Because you were like, I think I know what you're gonna say, and I was like, you don't. So like, my whole thing is like, I feel like we have our guest Bmizz here, who is the Celtics commander. So like, I'm saying like, I think he's got a bunch of thoughts on the Celtics. So it's like, my question is like, what are you seeing? Like, why? Like, I believe that this is a championship level squad, and I feel like you believe that as well. So like, what I'm saying is, why are they a championship level squad? And I know the defense was the main thing that you were touching on and stuff like that. But what else you got?
What are your thoughts though? Who are you going? Golden State or Boston?
I think Boston can beat the Warriors. I don't know if they will, but I think that they can.
No,
I think it's going to be a great
fight. I like this.
And I believe Boston finished with a better record, so they'd have home court. So if that was to go 7, it'd be in Boston.
Ooh, I'm about to check. Y'all continue. I'm about to check.
But definitely, I think they have everything. Like, you have your star and your closer in Tatum. Marcus Smart is, I gotta take my hat off to Marcus Smart. Like, back in the day when that brother would shoot,
correct. But he still does certain shots.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, oh Jesus Christ.
Right. Just so you know, the Warriors finished 53-29. Celtics finished 51-31.
Oh, so Golden State.
What was the Jazz record? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But do we know does seeding matter, or is it record?
It's a record.
Okay. The record is your seeding.
No, I'm saying because
they're the 3 seed in the West and they're the 2 seed in the East.
Oh,
so
got you. Good question. Yeah. And your answer was what?
It's the record.
Got you.
Okay. So yeah, we're starting Golden State, but we're proving that we can win on the road. So. And I definitely I love the confidence of this team. I love the chemistry of this team. And I feel like, the questions have been answered as far as can Tatum and Brown play with each other. I think Brown has been like okay with taking the back seat to Tatum.
I like Jaylen Brown.
I do too. He's come a long way. He was another one that at one point in time could not shoot the 3 ball like he is now. So they've definitely worked on that aspect of their game. And, they're doing really well right now. So I just think this team is going to go far. I feel confident about them beating Miami. I think that goes 6 games. I will give Miami another game. I think that goes 6 games. And then Golden State, I think it's going to be a classic. I mean, to me, I just feel, and this is not me talking as a Celtics fan, it's just talking about a basketball fan. I feel like Boston matches up better with Golden State than Miami does. Because again, if you look at Miami, if Jimmy Butler is not balling, who on Miami is going to be able to keep up with Golden State? You know what I mean?
I thought you guys said it was Bam Adebayo. It was the guy.
This guy is stuck.
Yeah, like we're talking about him like he's not one of the four best centers in the league.
Listen, for me, like I'm not saying I'm rooting for the Celtics because I mean, like I do not like the Celtics. But for the sake of wanting to watch good basketball, I would rather see the Celtics there than Miami. Because like for me, this NBA playoffs like have been like not exceptional. Like we have had the really good games, but like the blowouts have like this is like it's not NBA playoff basketball. Like I understand losing a game, but 40, 50, 30-point losses in the playoffs is just it's unacceptable. And I don't want Miami to go and play Golden State just to give up 4 or 5 games of NBA playoffs because we got a lot of waiting to do for sports. Once the NBA playoffs is over, and the more games, the better. And I think it is more exciting to have the Celtics there than Golden State. But I still want the Celtics to lose. No banner. No banner.
Because right now we're tied with those Lakers, and even though that bubble championship. But other than that,
what's wrong with the bubble championship?
Huh?
What's wrong with the bubble championship?
Wow.
What's black about?
Yeah, you had that man. You had that man Rajon Rondo looking like Steph Curry out there.
You guys both talking at the same time. Bam, what would you say?
Watered down championship.
Yeah.
Why is it watered down?
Thank you.
The bubble.
What about it?
It's horrible.
Why was it horrible?
You're trapped in the same place. No real own like.
That's what I hope it wasn't just gonna say it was charged. That's a good point. Continue with that, man.
No home court advantage.
So that means everybody's even.
Crowd is very different and plays an impact.
So that makes it.
It was just dull and boring. That don't.
The basketball was dull and boring, or the crowd was boring.
Was it half a season or?
No, they played up like 70 games.
Yeah, they finished. They played the full season. They just finished the last 13 games.
It was awkward. It was boring. I wouldn't say boring, but.
I was gonna say like maybe the crowd interaction might have been boring, but the games were excellent.
It's different.
I do think it for me. I do think it makes a big difference.
The crowd makes a big difference
to have to play on the road. Like I get you say it's even, but it's a lot easier to feel comfortable when you're like playing like open. It's almost like open gym. It's like there's nobody there.
That's exactly what
right. Like you don't feel
almost like open gym,
you don't feel the pressure of having to perform. You just play basketball. So a lot of guys who are not usually that guy. Were having games that they were not supposed to be having.
They was calling that man T.J. Warren Bubble Warren. Yeah.
Right.
What are the advantages of having home court?
Yeah, that crowd is different.
Yeah,
okay. You got crowd.
The atmosphere.
You're sleeping in your own households and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Your role players most likely will perform better at home than on the road.
Okay.
And guys are going to buckle under that pressure.
As a professional athlete myself. Being home in preparation for a home game felt way much better than being on the road.
So you're saying that it's harder to win if you have no home games?
Kind of. The crowd is
that finger. Like
I'm just asking. Like, so it sounds to me like you'd be better off if like you had home games versus if you didn't have home games.
Yeah, to me.
So you lose the advantages in the bubble playoff. You have no advantages.
There's no advantages.
So it's harder to win in the bubble.
Plus, they had guys that come out and was like, I'm tired of playing in the bubble.
Yeah, so a mental thing is also in there as well. So it's harder to win the bubble.
You know what it's like playing in the bubble? Going to practice every day.
That's not true because in practice, there's no weight.
I'm scrimmaging you. I'm scrimmaging you. I'm scrimmaging you.
They're not.
And then whoever wins, you just happen to win the championship.
They're not scrimmages though. Like these things matter. Like these are these are like the prime athletes. Everybody had 2 or 3 months. Everybody had 2 or 3 months to rest and like not be injured and come back.
You said what?
Like everybody had 2 or 3 months to rest from injuries to get everything right, and then everybody came like fully ready.
Injuries still happen in the bubble.
Of course, because like injury stuff. But what I'm saying is like there were players who were out for the rest of the year, and because the season got extended, they were able to come back and play in the playoffs because like they had more time to rest. So like The long.
Now, if it was a
you gotta stop talking over me. You gotta stop. I'm just like, in general, like it's not because of the argument thing, but it's like it's bad for audio. You can't keep talking over. Yeah. It's like, is like now the thing is like the grind of the season. It comes to a halt, and everybody gets to go home for a month and a half, and they rest. Right? Everybody does that. So everybody else who was injured, everybody's old bones and like all that stuff, everybody went home. They rest, relaxed, and then they all went to the same type of controlled environment. They all played in the same type of thing. None of them had any advantages. They didn't get to go bring their families. They didn't get to go home. They didn't get to rest. Everybody was stuck in the same type of conditions, no home crowds, and had to just play basketball. And that sounds like it's a little bit more difficult than if my team is the home team and I get to go home. I get to go see my wife and kids. I get to chill out, eat at my favorite restaurant. I can sleep in and then drive my favorite way to go to the game. I got my special parking spot. I don't have none of these advantages anymore. So like my thing is like, why is everybody shitting on the bubble? Like it's a bet, like it's like whatchamacallit, where it's just like, oh, bubble rate. And it's a fun thing to say, but I think in actuality, like it doesn't really make much sense. Bmizz.
So I'll explain that like easily, because when you look at that Lakers roster, they benefited from the bubble the most because you have injury-prone Anthony Davis, you have injury-prone Dwight Howard, you know, an aging Rajon Rondo, and then you have Bagless Brown, who was like 36 at that time. So all of them are older. So you have like, you know, 4 to 5 months off to rest up and then go and play. Of course, that experience and all that stuff is going to benefit you. But when I looked at all those matchups, I think they played Portland first round. To me, the thing about the Lakers, what won them the championship that nobody likes talking about, was the fact that they had the size. They went back to 80s and 90s basketball. They had the size. Like, you know, when they played Portland first round, when Nurkic came out the game and they put in Hassan Whiteside, like Anthony Davis just ate him for dinner. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like they had the size. And then the next round, I believe they played
the Rockets.
The Rockets next round, who had no PJ Tucker is your tallest guy. So of course they if Harden and Brody didn't show out, they had no legit shot in that series because of the bigs. And then they see Denver in the conference finals. And again, once Joker went out the game, that's when the Lakers really took off, because again, you don't have nobody contend with those bigs. You know what I'm saying? And then my favorite part, the finals, because this is where I'm gonna really get you Bron fans. All y'all love talking about the 2015 finals when he didn't have Kyrie, he didn't have Kevin Love, Well, in that finals in the bubble, Jimmy didn't have Bam or Goran Dragic, who were both balling in the bubble, didn't have them in the finals, but you don't hear LeBron fans making excuses for that. It's, oh no, you got to credit him, So my question to you, Joey Crack, as a Bron fan, is why is that excuse not valid in that bubble championship, but yet the excuse of Kyrie and Kevin Love not playing in 2015 valid?
I think you're making a lot of generalizations. First of all, like you're saying, like, why do people say this? These are not things that I've said.
Okay.
So like, that's a tough thing to like try to make me explain why other people are saying certain things, because I think you have to play with whoever's there. So it's like if people get injuries are a part of basketball. It's the same thing as COVID. If somebody gets COVID and they can't play, that's an injury. It's a part of basketball. So if they're not there. Like, I don't think, what is it, you said 2015 when he lost? Yeah, he lost. Like, I don't think that there's a thing where it's just like
a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, he did. He lost and the team was better than him, right?
So it's like, whoa.
What Golden State Warriors? Or the Golden State Warriors not better than the Cavaliers?
No. As a full roster, or just that series without Kevin Love and Kyrie?
As the full roster without Kevin Love and Kyrie. Like, the team's better, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, like this is the same series, if I'm not mistaken, where LeBron led all players in points, rebounds, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, and they still lost. 2016. I'm sorry. So like, what I'm saying is like, I don't know what this argument is where it's like, yeah, sure, the Miami Heat lost Bam and I think Goran Dragic for the first 2 games, and it's like they got blown out, they got beat and stuff like that, and it's like, is that a Jimmy Butler excuse? Because it's like, I don't think that there's any excuses. Like, you didn't have the players and you lost, and like that's all there is to it. My question would be, because like what I was trying to get back to the bubble thing, where it's like, you know, like you say that the bubble would affect like it's more beneficial towards the older players. I would argue and say like, no, it's more beneficial towards the younger players, because it's like, now I get all this rest and it's like I'm used to doing like all this running around and stuff like that. Like, I don't have to worry about, because like as older players, we know once you sit down for a certain amount of time, to get back up is not the best thing that's able to do.
No, that was my argument as well. It's like a lot of guys who usually aren't balling like that were balling in the bubble.
Right. And then so like to be like, oh, well, you played this person, you played this person.
Not balling now. Sorry.
I don't know if anybody remembers, like in the bubble playoffs, the Portland Trailblazers won that first game, and everybody was like, oh, the Portland Trailblazers. Then they proceeded to lose 4 games in a row, and everybody was like, the Portland Trailblazers are trash. The Houston Rockets came out, won the first game, and everybody was like, yo, Houston, James Harden, stuff like that. Then they lost 4 games in a row, and everybody was like, well, the Rockets were just trash. And it's like, that's what they love to do, and they're just like, oh, these teams are good until LeBron James beats them, and then they're trash teams because LeBron James beat them. And then like the Nuggets are the same thing, where it's just like you say that like they had no big man competition, which I also agree. I think Anthony Davis was the hugest X factor, and I actually thought he should have won Finals MVP that year. But like what I'm saying is like now you're playing against the best center, and it's like they still beat him, like regardless of the fact it's like their team was just a better constructed team, because that's who wins the finals, the best team, not the best player. Like that's how it works.
Majority of the time, yeah.
Yeah, like what? Like, granted, like if the best player is in the finals on the best team, then you're definitely gonna win, because like that's definitely how that works. Bam, like you got to face on. Like, am I saying something that's not correct? Now you got some thoughts. Like you look like you got some example that you want to throw out or something like that. Nope. All right. But like that's what is like. That's the thing, is like everybody discounts the bubble ring, and they're like the bubble ring, bubble this, Mickey Mouse ring, all this other stuff. Everything was straight over there. Oh, okay, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's still a championship that everybody was on an even playing field. And it's like the best team won, which was the Lakers. And it's like, that's just all it was. Who was supposed to beat them?
I still don't think they were the best team.
Who was supposed to beat them?
Actually, I believe Boston could have beat them.
They didn't even make it to the finals.
I know, but I believe they could have beat them. If they got there.
I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe. But if like the fact of the matter is the best teams make it to the finals, and that team beat the team that you thought could have beat them, and they beat that team handily, doesn't that not make them better? Because we just talked about earlier, like if I'm better than you, I should beat you. So like, that's kind of like how it works, because it's a 7-game series. Like for 4 out of 7 games, I beat you, so that makes me better than you.
I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen.
There's so many other things that can happen.
I'm always go back to home court advantage.
Because like that's the same Celtics team that LeBron James beat in 2018, like right before that, like with nobody on the team besides J.R. Smith and like Matthew Dellavedova, Timothy Mozgov.
We can't talk about that one because.
Why can't we bring it up? Why can't we talk? Why are these things sacred?
You want to go there? Let's go there then.
So we can't talk about it.
No, let's go there, because I look at that game, because that was the first year we had Kyrie. That was the first year we had Kyrie, and I believe we lost him in March.
Okay.
And I'm saying that game 7 was an all-time classic. However, they balled out, but those like last 5 minutes of that game was when the Celtics really missed Kyrie Irving, because they couldn't get a bucket. And usually that's that time where Kyrie's like, okay, y'all not ready to go? Give me the ball. Let me do this. Let me get us over the hump. And that's what he does. He always does that. He's always been a clutch closer if when necessary. Look at the 2016 finals. It was Kyrie who closed the deal, not LeBron. Kyrie, he closed the deal. Who hit the shot over Curry?
He did. How did they get the shot over Curry? Because who stopped the fast break basket that was going to give them the win?
No. That was prior.
It was literally the play right before. Like that's how they got the shot. When LeBron had the block on Andre Iguodala. That
was afterwards.
LeBron had the block, and then they literally came down, and then Kyrie hits the shot.
No, that was afterwards.
It was not. You're misremembering. Like what's called LeBron hits the block, and then Kyrie comes back down.
The court has asked you to subpoena some information.
I will easily. If that is the case,
the thing is, like, Kyrie's always been a closer. Kyrie was a closer one time. Aside from that, he's never been a closer. So like
he closed when he was with us. He closed all the time.
And with what ring?
Oh, so it's got to be championship. So if that's the case, then Bagless Brown ain't no closer.
I mean, he's got 4 championship rings,
but he never closed any of those deals.
But he wins the games.
No, he does not.
They won 4 games. What are you talking about?
But he doesn't win. He's not the reason they win.
Who's the reason that they win?
You just said the team. He's always got mad people on his team.
What are we talking about? Like, so you tell me that the best player that's on the team that wins, they don't matter?
Do you know that since he left Cleveland the first time, LeBron James has had over 70 players traded to this day. Over 70.
Since the first time he's left.
Since the first time
he also got 4 rings after that.
But you have over 70 players to construct your super teams.
What's your point? Like, I'm pretty sure like everyone can do that. They just don't.
Because where's the competitive balance? If you are the best,
don't talk about like competitive balance, because like like I was gonna say, because before that point, like that was never the case. There was always only 2 to 3 teams that could win.
Like who?
Like when it was Lakers versus Celtics.
The block happened first, and then the 3 happened.
So like you have the Lakers and Celtics, and it's like they construct their teams, and then they just keep adding players to make these great teams.
Are you talking about the 80s?
Yes.
Okay.
So then we move to the 90s, and it's like the Bulls just keep adding players and just keep getting greater, right?
Wait, adding players? Who they add?
Dennis Rodman.
Okay, that's one.
Ron Harper. Oh, Ron Harper's a now? Dennis Rodman doesn't matter now?
What's his, no. Rodman I'll give you. Rodman I'll give you, but
Tony Kukoc? Tony Kukoc doesn't matter? I was gonna say because I'm just saying it's like you got to keep adding.
I saw.
Tony was like the first.
That was Jerry Krause's boy, and after watching The Last Dance and seeing Jordan and Pippen tear him up, and overseas,
because they're Jordan and Pippen are played against Tony Kukoc, but when Tony Kukoc is your 6th man of the year, he's the best Euro player in the league, and he was the 6th man of the year. He's one of the best players like in the league, and he's coming off the bench. When Michael Jordan was, he was the 6th man. When Michael Jordan was retired, Tony Kukoc and Scottie Pippen led that team to the Eastern Conference Finals, the Game 7, without Michael Jordan.
Who they lose to?
The New York Knicks. It's kind of crazy.
I like how it all comes full circle.
It all goes full circle. What happened to the Knicks that final?
All right, so we're gonna get off of this.
But what I'm saying is everybody does the same. Like everybody does it, but it's just like people just get mad when like LeBron does it, and it's like. His is like a little bit more daring. He's not the GM of these teams. As much as people say that he's not the GM, if he says
Kyrie even said it. Kyrie just
like
I don't know. I know he's not
the GM. That's my point.
He is managing generally.
Can I say I want this? If I'm the best player in the world and I say, can I get this player? And you go get him, then it's like, I guess you could say I'm the GM, but it's like more often than not, he's right. But so like, why not just keep doing that?
Okay. Because again, when you look in the Eastern Conference, all right, Crack, can you at least name me just 3 top 15 players in his run from the first year in Miami?
I don't know if we have enough time.
I'm saying the first year in Miami. To right before he left for LA. At least 3 top 10 players that were in the East at that time. That he had to play against.
There wasn't very many because they all ran to the West, and then when he went to the West, everybody ran East because everybody is afraid of Freddie LeBron James. Am I wrong?
Who ran to the East?
A lot of people ran to the East. Carmelo went to the East. Let's see. Carmelo went East. Kawhi went East. Darren Williams.
Don't do that. Kawhi was traded to the East because he didn't want to get.
So it matters if you get traded.
He didn't have a say.
He did have. Kawhi Leonard did not have a say.
No, because Greg Popovich was definitely in his feelings. It was like, I'm shipping you to Toronto. I'm shipping you out.
I think you're very misremembering the Kawhi Leonard situation. Do you remember how the Kawhi Leonard situation?
Yeah, he got mad at the medical team.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Razor. What's up?
I'm about to reel this back in.
No, reel it back in if you want.
I'm about to reel this back in because
I understand.
This is getting spicy. I feel like this joint, but it is on a 40-minute rabbit hole. Don't worry, we will have Bmizz on the show again.
If the Celtics win,
we will definitely have to have Bmizz on the show again. I'm never wearing another Celtics jersey.
Oh, you don't want to make another wager? Because you don't think that they could beat the Warriors. So if they play the Warriors,
they will not beat the Warriors. But I don't
want
to
if they play the Warriors,
they feloniously beat the Warriors just so I have to wear another jersey.
If they play the Warriors, do you want to make a bet?
We'll wait until we get past this Miami.
I got a nice bet.
Let's see what happens. All right. We'll quickly breeze over home cooking. All right,
do we even need to?
We don't. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna breeze over home cooking. We don't need to. We're gonna get right to the blitz. All right. There's a couple topics that I want to talk about. One of them is Michael Vick.
Man, get out my way. Watch out as I come through. Busting in your line, cracking numbers in two. When I bring the pain, then what you gonna do? And lace up the cleats and get shook out your shoes. Clean out your locker. I'm out to get you.
No matter how many times we have done this show, I'm never ready for the ludicrous bars to smack me in the mouth mid-sentence. Like there's been times I've waited and I end up saying the words just because. All right, we won't go there. All right, so we'll start with Mike Vick. I don't know if you guys have heard, he's coming out of retirement. But he's going to be...
What you want? The rock in the palm of my hand. What you got? I got John Madden.
He was also on the cover of John Madden at one point at the peak of his career. 30.
Damn, you're supposed to be on the stat checking.
I think he's in his early 40s.
43?
No, he can't be 40 yet.
Late 30s, early 40s.
My bet's on 43. Why are you checking? Bam, you check. Like you're not doing nothing. No, raise it. You were in the middle of talking. Keep doing your thing while Bam stat checks.
All right, I already looked it up. Mike Vick is 41. He is 41. So it's not like he's
this man, like, don't do that. Like, it was like early 30s, mid 40s. That's like 9 numbers, bro. That's 9 numbers. He's like, it could be any one of these things.
Right. It was like you took all of the positions that Rudy Gobert could be in.
Exactly. Number 1 through 5.
But so it's not like he's not going back to the NFL. He's going to be in that fan controlled player league. So I think that's the same one that T.O. is in.
There's another. Who's a quarterback in there? There's a quarterback.
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel. So this league, like it felt like the XFL when this first popped out. Like even watching it, it looks like the what's it called, the XFL? That's the one that WWF was running.
Yes. You know that's coming back, right?
They just signed a deal with Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
you're joking, right?
And they're gonna be on ESPN.
XFL was actually
The Rock is the owner.
Was actually
The Rock and his ex-wife are the owner of the.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good.
I'm finding out so much. And this joint looks real crazy. Like sometimes when I watch the highlights from this stuff, it looks like somebody like reconstructed their backyard and added some lights, and that's where they're playing football. But it is gaining traction, and there's a lot of guys who are actually thinking about getting into this league. And if this gives me a chance to watch Mike Vick again, I'm going to watch it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I want to see how, even if it's only the one time to be like it was really good or it was really bad, I'm going to watch Mike Vick play.
Please, Bam, share your thoughts. I want nothing more.
So, where do I begin?
From the beginning.
What's wrong with this?
From the beginning.
One, you're both professional athletes. Swear always here. I get it. You love football, coach. Why are you diminishing your career by playing at a level that's under CFL? If you want to play Canadian football, where you at least you can do something out there, and it ain't gonna be as bad looking towards your career.
Does it? I don't think it has anything to do with his career. I don't judge his career any differently.
What? This is where and two, the second reason, bro, you had your time to shine. Let the young cats eat. This is a level of football where it's supposed to help somebody get seen by the top tier, but they can't be seen because you got the Johnny Manziels who had their shot already. You got the T.O. who's already in the Hall of Fame. So if you're a wide receiver in this league, you're not hyped if Mike Vick's your QB and he gives you a chance to catch some passes? I'm going to be upset because there's a young quarterback who hasn't been there yet, who's not being seen because.
But are you better than me?
Vick's there. It doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter if I'm better than you.
Vick's had his time, is what I'm saying.
So
you're taking the shot. These leagues that the
fan-controlled football,
arena football. These aren't leagues to help you get seen by the next top tier leagues.
So what if you're a young QB and you hanging out with Vick and he's giving you the ins and out of what he learned from the NFL?
Coach. Why are you going to take my spot?
Okay. Just coach.
He
said, coach, don't take my spot.
Because now, how can I be seen if everybody's focused on Vick throwing the ball?
Bmizz, can I ask you a question? Can you name me 2 teams that are in the fan control football league?
The one Johnny.
Can you name me 5 players that are in the fan control football league?
Besides for Manziel, T.O., well, now Mike Vick.
Would you consider watching a fan control football game with Mike Vick now playing?
Possibly.
Not like it has to be appointment viewing, but if you saw it on the thing, like, oh, isn't Mike Vick playing in this?
Yeah.
That's how it helps players who aren't on there. People that don't care and don't watch are now watching because these players are now on the field. Like, I want to see Mike Vick. Does he still got it? And then it's like, yo, who's that dude that just intercepted Mike Vick? Yeah. Who's the dude that just caught this pass? Yeah. Who's the guy that's doing this? That's how these people get seen.
Here's my question for both.
The thing is, if Raisin shuts down T.O., am I going to give Raisin all the credit because he shut down a 40-year-old T.O.?
Yeah, because like that's what the sports center highlights would say.
I think T.O. was like 50.
50.
But that's what the highlights would say is like they would be like, hey, like
what
the T.O. played in this game and like he got completely shut down. Like that would be the topic. It's like, does he still have it anymore? Because this kid was on his boots.
But that's the thing is like He's not going to get no credit, and he's going to lose points towards his career.
You got to get some airtime though.
Yeah.
You shut down T.O., dude's gonna be like, "Who's this kid that shut down T.O.?" It is a 50-year-old T.O., but
Because if I shut down Johnny Appleseed, it's not a first take topic.
Listen, you're taking away from people who haven't made it.
But if you're better, then you should be playing over me, right?
But I could be better than you.
No, if you were better than me, then you wouldn't have to worry about T.O.
It's T.O. though.
But if I'm better,
so if you're gonna if you're not hearing me, it's T.O. He's gonna start regardless whether I'm better than him or not. It's T.O.
There's not one wide receiver on every team.
No, this would be like 7 of them on the field.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's how it works.
But what I'm saying is his name gets him his starting position.
Okay.
Not because he's better.
I just feel like if I'm a young player,
because he was better,
especially in this fan control league, I can definitely learn from him.
You can learn from him.
I love the idea of being a corner and getting reps against T.O. The networking that comes with that. Like T.O. messed around, played for a year or two, and then maybe he is hanging around some other coaches, and he's like, "Oh, there's this kid raising out of South Dakota who's nasty. Bring him in as a walk-on, give him a look, or check out his film or something like that." You never know how that stuff works out. Like, yes, you are taking reps away from somebody, but I'm pretty sure this league is going to have like 78 teams. Like, there's going to be space for the young guys, and you want people who are going to bring attention to the league. So I agree with Joel. I see what you're saying, but they're about to be taken over once the XFL starts. Nobody's going to watch it. Yeah, but you got to think which one of these guys can transition from there to the XFL. You know what I mean? So I think it's all good. I think it's all good. It's kind of like if you throw like a concert or a barbecue, or you try and throw a party and you got your little flyer. Whoever you put on that flyer is what's going to gain people's attention to show up. And then in the midst of that, you got your headliners, you got all the other people that people weren't looking for that now are getting a buzz because they came to see the one person. So I get what Joel's saying.
You know what I liked about the XFL? They had the guys that didn't make it, and they had new face, like old college players that you haven't seen.
I hated the names on the back of the jersey.
That was like one of my favorites.
No.
I was like, my man, he hates me.
Not like that.
That was the only one that was dope. That's the only one that was dope.
Have you not watched
I'll never forget them.
XFL games?
No, I haven't watched any of them.
I need you to watch one. They're all on YouTube.
Is there anybody in there interesting? Because
yes.
if there's like a Michael Vick or a T.O., I might watch.
He ended up getting this shot after COVID. The Panthers ended up breaking him. He still plays for the Panthers, the quarterback.
That's what's up. I'm not
sure.
sure.
But it was good to see that these guys are getting the actual shot. It wasn't those people that was like, "Oh, I mean, come up out of retirement to see if I show people I still got it." Mm-hmm. T.O. wants to show the other teams that, hey, I still can play. Give me a contract. That's what he really wants.
Yeah.
He wants a team to sign him.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But
Bmizz had a quick question they want to throw up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So, do you guys think that if my man Cap does not get signed by a team this season, he would go and play in a league like that?
Yes, because he
has
has
to show him.
I think he would play in the XFL. Just because he's already doing stuff to get his reps up to show people what he still has. Mm-hmm. I could see him. I guess it's kind of tough because from what I remember, he had an opportunity to play in this fan control league and he didn't play in the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was on the same one of the teams. I think he was on the team that was playing against T.O. and them, and everybody was hyped because T.O. was on one team, Cap was on the other team, and Cap didn't play. I don't know if he didn't show up or he didn't play, but either way, he did not suit up. He did not play. Okay. The XFL may be a little different, but I think at this point, if he's really serious about getting in the NFL, he has to show some in-game action of what he can really do. I really wish that the Davis guy over and with the Raiders was not capping, and it was actually capping because he was talking about he would be open to signing them, but yet this man does still not have a contract. I think it's just people just like being able to still flirt with the idea of cap but not really pull the trigger because they don't know what comes with that. So it's really tough in that situation, even in an XFL or fan-controlled football situation.
Okay.
Another topic that I was did anybody else have anything else on this? I'm sorry, my bad, Joey. Did you have something?
I don't think that Cap would play it. I think it's starting NFL quarterback or bust. Yeah. And it's like everything else is kind of like back burner type stuff. Like It's below me. I'm making more money doing all the other stuff that I'm doing aside from playing quarterback. And it's like, and I get to the added bonus of I don't play in the XFL and then get embarrassed. And then everybody's like, oh, you weren't ready to be a quarterback. And then everybody's proven right about why he should have done, like why he shouldn't be a starting quarterback and stuff like that. So like, to me, it's just like, if I'm not getting the starting quarterback job, like I'm just not playing. So like, I think that's 100% where he's at.
That's a good point. Appreciate that. Another topic that is definitely gaining a lot of headway, and I will let you guys go at this first because I have.
It better not be a Raiders rumor.
It's not a Raiders. It's not a Raiders rumor. We did just sign a wide receiver, but that's here nor there. But Deion Sanders and Nick Saban have a new beef, and I have several different viewpoints on this situation, but I'm gonna let y'all get at it first. And I think I'll just dive in here and there when I see that somebody's getting somewhere to where I'm supposed to be. But the main point is we know that there was a D1 talent that signed with Jackson State University.
Number 1 overall college,
high school talent. Talk about it. Number 1 overall high school talent.
Went to an HBCU.
And he's already wilding out at practices, and it looks crazy. And I'm pretty sure this is a kid who easily could have went to Alabama. I'm pretty sure
he was recruited by Alabama.
He was in Alabama. He could have literally went anywhere he wanted to go. No, he's a wide receiver.
He's a wide receiver.
Oh, he's a wide
receiver. Huh?
The kid out of College Hill.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I think Alabama and Clemson were his other 2 top choices, and he went with whatchamacallit.
So this led Nick Saban to come out and tell everyone that the only reason he went to Jackson State is because they secured the bag for $1 million for this kid to go there. So
you want to go into the other comments that he made and like this little sob story that he tried to put online?
I'm gonna let y'all have at it, and I'm just gonna jump in because I don't want to take over this topic because I'm real passionate about dumb stuff like this, Joel. So please go first. Yes, talk about it.
No. I was gonna say like if you had to say the other things that Nick Saban said because he said a lot of things.
Yes. Please riddle them off.
Well, he was also saying that like that college football is all about parity. Like that's the whole point, and that's the beauty of college football is that all the players get spread out, even though like he, is in Alabama, where that's not 100% the case.
Right.
So like this is the first talent that's really spurned Alabama and then gone the HBCU route.
Mm-hmm.
He also made a couple of disparaging comments about Deion Sanders, like in general.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's a lot of things. I think Jimbo Fisher was the one that came out and like kind of came for his neck and just saying that like he was talking backwards. Bam, I can see you chomping at the bit. Go right ahead, son. I know. Go ahead. Go for it. Yeah.
Please.
Go for it.
Yo, Jimbo's my guy.
You gotta tell me about Jimbo, bro.
Yo, Nick's upset because now that kids are getting paid for their player likeness and their name and likeness.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he said they gave this kid $1 million. I don't even think Jackson State's boosters can even make $1 million.
Deion came out himself and said, "I don't even make $1 million per year on my contracts. Like, how would I give $1 million?"
So how are you gonna get? Let's say what it is. If I'm a corner, just like you said, if somebody's playing with Michael Vick, they want the ball thrown to them from Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the best receiver / corner in the country, number 1 player. And you telling me my head coach is Deion? Where do you think I'm gonna go? Jackson, people fail to realize Jackson State is not D1, but they're D1 AA. They're just an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
They're still D1. The level of competition is still there. Now, especially, and then they just got the defensive lineman who's the number 1 defensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who his coach is? Warren Sapp.
Mm-hmm.
Speak on it, man. Speak on it.
Go ahead, man. I just listen. I wanted to not take over this.
As
Please,
an
go.
athlete, you tell me as a defensive lineman, you telling me I can go to Alabama, sit 2-3 years, then possibly be this, or I can go to Jackson State where they're getting the recognition. Thank you, Nick Saban, because now all eyes are on Jackson State.
Thank you,
and NFL.
Thank you, Nick Saban.
NFL.
Thank you, Nick
is
Saban.
now paying attention to what Deion is doing. We're taking these top kids away from big D1 programs. This is where it starts. And the kid said, the defensive tackle said, why wouldn't I want to go play with people that look like me?
Y'all touching on everything I wanted to say.
Why wouldn't I go play? He said, I'm getting coached by Warren Sapp, and I'm playing with people who look like me.
Mm-hmm. You want me to close it out? Y'all ready?
I mean, we had talked about this previously when we talked about Jackson State before. Like,
Right.
I had made the claim, like, because we talk about how there's no black head coaches in the NFL. And I was
Right.
like, I'd actually rather them, I like the route that we're doing now, where it's like, we're turning the HBCUs into the spot. And like these players that used to play are now going to the HBCUs and like taking over college football, which has been a majorly corrupt system for years. And it's like, now we're going to go over here with these players that you saying are these coaches, these former players who are now coaches who are you saying aren't worthy for these coaching jobs in the NFL. And we're going to show you that we're going to go over here and take out all this stuff. And it's like, I think it looks beautiful and I'm all here for it.
And when they first got that kid in and he decommitted from Florida State
Yep.
and everybody else, they were, why would you take somebody from your alma mater? My alma mater didn't even give me the head coaching job. They thought I didn't fit.
Talking right now.
Yep.
So now
And then they offered him the bag afterwards.
Right. Now that everybody's going to him, come on, don't you want to come back and play for your alma mater?
Don't do that.
You see what I'm doing over here? We turned a winless team
to
a mediocre team to a championship contending team. They lost in the championship last year.
So this is
And
where
now
I'm
they
at.
look at the recognition they have. They talk about, why would you go there? You won't get drafted. Scouts are going to find you anywhere.
Facts.
Scouts are going to look under every rock. If you're good and you can play, scouts are going to find you.
Facts.
Doesn't matter. You play D1 double, Ali Marpet, D3, Shannon Sharp, D2, HBCU. They're gonna find you
In all sports.
They're gonna find you.
So I'm gonna leave it with two nuggets.
Before you close it out, Bmizz,
Okay.
you have something you want to say?
Nope.
All right, raise it, close it
I'm
out.
gonna leave it with two nuggets. First, Deion's response was the best ever. That man said, listen, let's not act like you ain't been securing bags and then you're gonna try to put this bag securing on me. Even if we did give this kid $1 million, let's not forget where the bag giving started. All right. So that's not him saying they gave him a bag, but just even if we did have the bags to give out, this is what you've been doing for years, and now you mad because somebody outbagged you. Second of all, Nick Saban, thank you for showing everybody who you actually are and how much you do not care about these kids. And every single statement that you make towards Deion, you are showing your privilege and how much you want everything in every situation so you can be successful as a coach and not, I know you do the pleasantry of like, I love this kid. He's going to be great. He's going to be, all you care about is getting your check and winning your championship and how prominent you are in college football. Because if it wasn't like that, you wouldn't have cared about the one Hershey Kiss that you lost because you're still going to get 15 recruits in the year. There's still going to be people battling with you for quarterbacks, running backs, linemen, linebackers, every single position. But you're mad that you lost this one kid to a brother, to a school full of brothers, and it makes you look foolish. So keep talking on it because every time you do, you are exposing yourself and your little homies. And eventually people are going to get fed up with it and you ain't going to get nobody. And it's going to get to the time where they say, I know it's far-fetched to where they say Alabama who, but you're going to get to a point where people's going to start wisening up and be like, you know what? This guy cares more about winning football games than he really does about me challenging my goals in my career. Straight like that.
I said it last year. Alabama looked like a regular team. They don't look like a super team no more.
Listen,
their quarterback is nice.
Y'all let them in the top 4 every year for them to get smacked in the face. How long has the college football playoff been going on for? It's been 8 years now.
Them to open it up.
About 8 years.
It's been about 8 years, right? They've been in it every single one of the 8 years.
Yep.
They've won twice.
But
They won twice. We know who won the first. We know who won the first one, right?
Every year they've been number one,
Yes.
recruit, number one.
Yes.
And now that he's number 2, it's such a big problem.
Yes.
Don't act like your boosters wasn't reaching in their pockets to go get. Come on.
Made yourself look foolish. Good job.
Come on.
Good job.
Your quarterback's from California. You think what he know about the country?
Good job. 2 side notes because you did bring up the and then we'll segue from football. I'm sorry. You did bring up kids getting paid for their likeness. This is incredible. There is a kid, I don't know if you guys know this, but he secured like a $4 million bag, QB. I believe he's Samoan. He's going to Tennessee. I can't remember his name, but keep an eye out for him. But he literally will get.
Damn, you're supposed to be looking at stuff.
I'm pretty sure that he's going to get $1 million for every year that he's in Tennessee. So the $4 million is for 4 years of college. So if he leaves early to the NFL, I think they get that money back or whatever. I'm not sure how it works, but he is getting $1 million a season. Aside from that, shout out to Dawn Staley. They just won back-to-back championships in the NCAA. And the first thing that she did for her players was have a conversation with them about agency and how to get somebody to properly represent you. So she brought her whole team in and called a bunch of agents to come in and sit with her players so that they would be secure in what they needed to do in next steps, whether they went to the WNBA or stayed in college ball. And that's what real coaching looks like. It's not like, yes, all coaches want to win games. All coaches want to win ships. We get frustrated when we lose in games, but ultimately the person coming back to us and they have a career or they have a family and that thank you coach moment, or just seeing people grow into strong, characteristic, integral persons is really what coaches are doing it for. And that's what's important. Not you, Nick Saban. I'm sorry. Say what it is. Come on the show. We can talk about it. I don't care about it. But shout out to Dawn Staley and shout out to old boy going to Tennessee. You said didn't look his name up, did you?
No, I don't have.
See,
I don't have this.
I'm not answering that hand for you to say something to you. Look up that Tennessee QB.
Real briefly, before we leave off the subject.
Oh, got you. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
You come over here all the time. You don't got the Wi-Fi password? That's what you telling me, bro?
90% of the time, I'm hopping on the bike and go.
Yeah, that's how you go. But just real briefly, I just want to say I do love the taste of white tears.
Yes.
Like that, because like they love to say that they're allies and they support and there's stuff like that until we become competition, and then it's like the real you starts to show up. They don't like that, do they? They don't like that, do they?
Listen, did you
see?
see?
Real quick, I don't know if I'm saying this right or not, but his name is Nico Lamalavea. I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but shout out to Nico. That man secured the bag. I did watch some of his videos. Kid definitely does have a laser. Man definitely does have a laser.
I think you did a pretty decent job pronouncing that. I think you deserve something for that. Because I've never heard his name said out loud, and I was like, that sounds like a name.
He said that sounds like a name.
It could have been real rough.
All right, go ahead, Bam. I'm sorry.
He's like, you lost it. You lost it.
Nah, I got it. What I was gonna say, but as soon as that kid decommitted from Florida State, you seen all the backlash.
Mm-hmm.
All the big time schools did not like it. Florida State, Nick Saban, everybody had something to say because the black kid wanted to go play with the black coach.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I did get the numbers wrong as well. He's getting upwards of $8 million for his likeness. Nico. Shout out to Nico. Nice. Yeah. Boom.
Shout out to Nico.
That is a headshot. Hold that one, Nick Saban. All right. So
he's got to see that kid for 3 years at least.
All right. So we're moving on to heavyweight lovers. Joel starts giggling so much.
Because it's funny that I feel like we've been going for 2 hours already and we haven't even got to heavyweight lovers.
Right.
What'd you say?
Heavyweight lovers in the house.
I thought you was already saying what you won't do for love. Yeah, you tried everything, but you don't give up.
It's so much better live, right?
Waiting for that album.
You said you waiting for the album, man? All right, so this has been a 3-part heavyweight lovers. All right, Joel always with the chuckles, man. This man's always with the chuckles. He got one locked and loaded. So it's been the good, the bad, and now the ugly. All right, so we talked about the good and what situations come out good with having in-laws and the type of situation that you want to have. Bmizz over there sweating. Bmizz in-laws sweating right now. Hey, listen, you don't have to give input if you don't want to. All right, everybody has the autonomy to say what they feel and how they feel. All right. Secondly, we went with the bad, which is the overstepping of boundaries and not communicating as.
But it's repairable.
Yes, it's repairable. Thank you, Joel. So like when you're in the bad situation, it is definitely repairable. Please do not hit that light. This light is important. Leave that fly alone. This man's over here looking like a kid in a candy store. All right. So
he about to lose his seat. I'm telling you.
Right.
In my head,
sidebar Bam about to be sidelined.
In my head, I just see like
right. So yes, Joel made a great point. When you get to the bad situations, they're just bad. It's usually pretty much repairable. There are certain things as far as communication with you and your spouse that you have to make sure that you're keying in on, because if not, then those bad situations going unaddressed can become ugly. So that's where we are today. After getting past the good and the bad, we have gotten to the ugly. All right. So I will start off by saying you have already made the mistake by allowing it to get ugly. All right. Because that means there's several things. If like you've listened to the last pod, there's several things that have not happened. Like you and your spouse have not communicated, or you communicated and you did not respect where your spouse was coming from to address the problem that has gotten bad. And because of that, as people do, they test limits, sometimes openly, sometimes they do it unconsciously because they could just be habitual line steppers and that's part of their life. And because they do that, they become accustomed to doing it everywhere they go, and seeing how those limits get tested, they become comfortable with saying, okay, well, no one said anything, so they must be okay with it. All right. We talked about this before. The not saying something is not openly agreeing, but you are because you did not say something. So like if Mizz comes in my crib, walks into the kitchen, goes in the fridge and grabs one of the drinks that's just for me, sits on the couch and starts busting it down, and I don't say nothing, he now has the communication that that's what he's allowed to do. But I was be like, yo, hey, listen, man, this is the one time you get to do that. All right. There's plenty of beverages in there, but those are just for me. When he comes in next time, he knows not to do that. Right. So when you're dealing with in-laws and the several different boundaries that could be overstepped, it can get bad. All right. So I won't start with examples right off the rip, but I like Joel's over there chuckling. Man.
So you don't got something on your chest that you just want to just let him off?
No. So, what do you do when the situation becomes ugly? All right. So we talked about check season, right? So at this point, you're in the situation where the things have to be addressed. All right. You've gone to your spouse and be like, hey, listen, I don't like when your mom does this, or I don't like when your dad does that. Can you have a conversation with them? The conversation is not had. The thing continues to happen. How does that checking look? All right. So whether it becomes really bad or ugly depends on how you address that situation. What I will say is be prepared for it to frustrate you. All right. Because it's already bad. All right. So when it frustrates you, you can't approach that situation with frustration because it's not going to get solved. We talked about this several times in the way we communicate in relationships with one another. If you approach the situation with hostility, it's only going to be combated by more hostility. And then before you know it, it's not a conversation, it's an argument. And then everything gets torn apart. And then eventually you have to be on cooler heads so that you can get your statements across to have a real conversation. So you definitely want to have a check-in before you're going to have that conversation, but knowing that it does have to get checked. All right. So like, listen, you come by the crib and my wife made chicken for everybody and she made one steak. No, you're not slicing off a piece of that steak. That steak is for one person. If you ask me and I say, no, don't get mad and get to running your mouth about how there wasn't no steak for you. This is not a real situation. Look at Joel over there. All right. This is not a real situation. All right. But if I go to the bathroom, I come out and I look on the grill and half my steak is missing. I'm like, yo, what other half of my steak? Oh man, you know I had to get a piece of the steak. All right, fam, listen, we need to have a conversation. All right, because this has gotten out of hand. Like, for me, I don't think that the spouse should be available in this conversation. All right. The only reason I say that, and I'll let you guys, because I don't want to go off on a tangent, but the only reason I say that is because you've already had a conversation with your spouse about the thing that frustrated you, and they did not defend you or they did not have a conversation about that. So addressing the in-law with the person that's on the same page as the in-law just means it's a 2-against-1 situation. And you can't really, it's going to be like, oh, I'm saying this because see, oh yeah, but because see, and now it's just like, not only are you not getting your point across and that person is not trying to listen, but now you're ripping a tear in your relationship with the person that you have to lay against tonight because they're already on the side of the in-law. And it's not because they may be against you, but it's just they have difficulty with addressing their parent. All right. That is still their parent. They're still their child. I get it. But at some point, you have to understand that your children become adults. And in those adult situations, you have to have boundaries. And a lot of times, and I'm not an in-law yet, so I'm not going to say like this is for everyone. Sometimes we struggle with the letting go of being the parent and that being our child and where we should input. Like if your child comes to you for advice and everything and stuff like that, I get it. But just telling them to do something is not always going to work because they are their own person. They are their own adult. But you have to be able to have these tough conversations because if not, it's going to tear the family apart. Any feedback?
No, not really. I mean, we kind of talked about it like on like the whole difference between like the bad and the ugly is like the bad is like I'm giving you the opportunity to fix this situation.
Yes.
And then the ugly is like I've given you the opportunity to fix the situation. Either you haven't followed through on your end, or like it kind of fell on deaf ears on the other part. And it's like it's really I need you to handle the situation before I have to handle it. And then it's like when I handle it and we're still not going around that same route, now we have to make changes.
Right.
And it's like you have to like look inward either in the relationship, like in general, because like, in-laws are like what, 30% of like your spouse's relationship. It's like, it's not everything, but it's like, they matter. And it's like, you can't drive a wedge between a person and their parent unless like, obviously like they're a toxic person and they're a negative influence and like all these things. But it's just like, it's going to be one of those things that it's always going to be an argument. It'll always be like a thing where it's like, now if I decide I want to separate myself from your family, now it's like, well, how come you don't like my family? And like, you don't want to do this and like, you don't want to do that. And it's like, I done told you. And it's like, I don't know, like when we're going to start digging into like, I'm sure we all have certain situations where we've had to chirp up and like, cause there are levels to certain things. There are things that are non-negotiables and there are things that are just like, I just don't like your dad because he's a Red Sox fan or like something like that. Or like, I don't like him because he talks too much. It's like, that's not the same thing as like, I don't feel your dad doesn't make me feel comfortable or like your parents don't make me feel comfortable because of things that they said and do. And then they don't care or respect my feelings. So it's like, that's why we have to move in the way that we have to move.
Facts.
Damn, why are you making that face?
Because
you got one.
My kingdom, my rules. You don't follow mine, you don't have to be around.
I mean, but that's kind of like the same thing with the parents could do. Like my kingdom, my rules. And it's like, I mean, like either way, like that's not really the most healthiest way to look at it.
This is my daughter's house. This is my son's house. My grandbabies is here.
If that's my child, guess what? This is my kingdom. I don't care if we're married, if me and your daughter are married, when you get married, y'all are tied together. Y'all are now one.
That's scripture.
Y'all are now one. You leave, I leave my mom, you leave your dad and your mom. We come together. We are us. So now this is my kingdom. I don't care. You put your foot down. You don't like it. You don't got to be around. Don't come around. That's how I feel. You don't know how to find it. If it gets to that point where it's that ugly and it's falling on deaf ears, nothing's changing, guess what? You only have peace in two places, the graveyard and your house. You can't have peace at home. You got to make peace at home.
Do you got a bad situation that turned ugly?
No.
Smart man.
Because even if it's like my mom, I have to check my mom at points where it's like, Mom, relax. Relax. This is her domain. We get it. You're your mom. You have the motherly figure. You want to do this. You want to do that. But relax. At the end of the day, her and my mom have the same beliefs but different beliefs. So sometimes it clashes, and it has to, as her spouse, that I know that's your mom, but you got to have your spouse's back.
Good point. Because
the moment that your spouse feels like you don't have their back, that's when it gets ugly. That's when it turns to, okay, now I gotta go. I gotta go to Joel because Raisin didn't have my back, so it's now me and Joel versus Raisin and B.
Us versus them.
Us versus them. That's what it would turn into.
Us versus them.
And then it just transpires, roll downhill. Now Joel don't want to be around you. I don't want to be around B, just because we didn't catch it.
And then you find yourself in a situation where you're separated, but you haven't actually made it official that you're separated.
Because you're gonna run into that where it's like, that's mom, but that's my wife, but that's mom, but that's my wife. Happy wife, happy life. Mom will eventually get over it. Wife, this is who you dealing with every day, thick and thin, especially when you got kids involved. Thick and thin.
What if it goes the other way? What if like your spouse is the one that's stepping over the line and they's talking crazy to your in-laws, your parents,
as a male,
and you'd be like, "Yo, like
as a king, you put her back in her place."
Oh, don't say
So that was a crazy. Hey,
No, because just like as a kid, as somebody, this is your kingdom.
No, I get it. We all about women empowerment around here too. We're not putting no women in. We don't know what a woman's place is. We are having the tough conversation. Yeah. We don't know where a woman's place is, but we making sure that we're having a tough conversation. We get it. We get what you're saying. We just helping you out. We cleaning it up. Look at
you about to green screen me out this. You ain't putting me in this clip, boy. Let me tell you.
Joel said you about to mess up my Bumble account.
You ain't about to do that.
So not put her in place, but essentially you have to check her because at the end of the day, that's your mom. Mm-hmm. That's somebody. Once y'all are in-laws, y'all are always going to be around. Y'all family is going to be intertwined on a daily, if not every other day basis.
Yeah, for me to piggyback off of
relax. That's still
right. So to piggyback off of what you're saying is like in those situations, you have to approach the tough questions, and you have to say like what about my mom or dad makes you act this way, or in this certain situation, what is frustrating you? Because you can't just say, hey, stop, because their feelings are still going unaddressed. Right. The problem is still probably there in underlying situations, and it's going to present itself again. So you have to make sure this guy back in here. So you have to make sure to just have that conversation of saying exactly what's going on. All right. And if you feel like you've gotten to a point to where they're not trying to listen and they're not trying to hear you, then you have to reevaluate if you made the right choice in the first place. And I know it's tough to say that, but like if you are in love with someone and you guys are sharing a life together, there should never be an opportunity where you can't have a discussion to where you can get to a point of agreement.
Because I feel like once you guys take that step and get married, y'all are now family. You should be able to, if you have a problem with my mother, you should be able to talk to her as if she's your mother and resolve the situation.
Right. And I'll tell you like off the rip, and I'll share this because this is like stuff that I've shared openly with me and my wife. And when we were not married and my mom did not get along, they were like at bitter odds. It almost came to blows. I'm not going to tell you how that ended out. This would be like the Kyrie playing LeBron one-on-one. We're not going to know what happened in that gym. All right. What I will say is my mom loves my wife more than she loved me. Somebody get Joel, right? Like they have the best relationship. You know what I mean? But ultimately that happened because I was just like, I had a conversation with my mom, like, hey, listen, this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. These certain things cannot happen. I talked to my wife, like, hey, listen, this is my mom. This is where we're at with that. That helped for the surface level of things. But you know what really made it impactful? They actually sat down and had a conversation themselves. And when that happened, they were able to hear each other out, feel the way they feel. And ultimately the common denominator was that they both loved me. Right. So you care for your son as a mom, you care for your husband as a wife. So like you literally have the same views. You just have to work on a communication on how you show what that view is and where that communication is. And we are in a wonderful place now. You have to have those tough conversations. We're not checking nobody, putting them in their place, but you know what I mean? It's just like you have to have those tough conversations.
You have to nip it in the bud, is what I meant to say.
There you go. I like that. You got to nip it in the bud. There you go. There you can link it.
Bmizz, you married?
I'm not married, but I am in a relationship.
Okay.
How long? How deep?
Well, actually, my current lady, next week will be 2 months.
Okay.
That was a smart move. I thought she was going to mess it up. Like, I remember what our anniversary is.
Smooth operator.
Don't let Joe try to do
that. Next month. However, I almost got married, so.
Okay.
So, but Raisin, we are 15 years in?
No, 16. It'll be 17 in June. 17 we are and 21 together.
How old's DJ?
Like
2.
Oh, your son. I thought you were talking about my brother. I was like, what? I was like, it ain't been that long.
Going on 3.
Congrats.
Going on 3 years. Married. What you call it? Committed relationship. 2 months. So,
the audacity of Joel.
Joel?
What do you mean?
Joel?
What's the audacity?
No.
No. That he was like, how did you, when he first found out who my baby mother was, how did you pull that?
Why are we doing this on air right now? Why are we doing it? You sure you going to Jesse, I still don't get it. And like, I know and love Bam for all these years. I seen you in your prime, and like, I was flabbergasted when I heard. I was like, you? I was like,
she's no longer in her prime. Is that what y'all saying?
No, it's not like no. LeBron's not in his prime either. That doesn't mean he's still not good. Like, what I want to call it, but it's like, yo, she was like, yo, Jesse, I'm flabbergasted still, but I'm glad that you like he makes you happy and you make him happy.
Candace Parker, you're shouting.
That is a great comparison. Let me tell you,
yo,
Ben is a very lucky man.
Yo, I just want to know one question. How did you manage to pull? How? I didn't even get to say, hi, Joe. How you doing? How's your day? I walk in the house and he just go, I just have one question. How did you manage to pull that?
To this day, I still can't figure it out. It is the 10th wonder of the world. Let me tell you, like, yo, it's like the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know how it works. I don't know what's going on.
That's
like,
hilarious.
I'm just glad to make each other happy, and then we got the cement block known as DJ.
I like how Joel always segues though, and make sure that the spotlight's not on him because he did ask you how long you've been married. Asked me how long.
I said I was single. I said the whole thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, you just wanted to amplify that. The fact that I was single. That's what it felt like.
No, not that you were single. Letting everybody know that my homie is out here available. So if you want to holler at him, you can, direct message us through the Heavyweight Bros Instagram.
That was a nice pivot.
You can hit him up at Big Nasty. He's also on Bumble. You know what I mean? It's a quick turnaround. You know what I mean? Because those turnarounds.
Almost like our boy G Head over at Custom Merch on IG and Etsy. You go on there and you type in a promo code Heavyweight Bros, spelled HW, the number 8 BROS to save you 10% on your order because the more you spend,
the more you save.
I was hoping that Bam and Bmizz was gonna hop in on there, but I thought that they was diehard fans like that where they had it, but I guess not. It's all right.
He's staying. Nah, yo, Mizz be on it though. I don't know about Bam, but Mizz be on it.
You see my likes.
We don't see likes. We see comments.
Was it every Wednesday and Sunday?
Sometimes it fluctuates, but we are getting off 2 a week. We are getting off 2 off a week. 2 off a week.
But you guys upload on Wednesdays and Sundays.
Right. I knew you was right.
Yep. Okay. So ultimately, don't allow things. Go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. No, I thought you were gonna segue into your next one because I was gonna say something about.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do.
So, one thing for everyone that doesn't know, I am a mental health therapist. I have done a couple of counseling and stuff like that. And one thing that I tell my clients is it's all about approach. So like in those moments, say for example, something happened, like my girl disrespected my mom or da-da-da-da. Sure, the emotions in me, I want to go in guns blazing. But I have to recognize that if I do that, she's automatically going to be on the defense. Versus if I come to her in maybe a stern term, but like let her know that I'm serious. Like, hey, I didn't appreciate, what happened between you and my moms and stuff like that. And I'm speaking to her in a tone that's respectful. She's much more likely to receive that versus me coming in like, you shouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying? So when you do it that way, you're more likely to get a better response in that moment versus having to drag out for days and days and days. Because if anything, you could be potentially re-traumatizing or re-triggering her in those moments when you speak that way. So it's all about approach and recognizing, when is the right moment to address that situation. Sometimes you may need to take that time and do whatever it is that you do that makes you happy or brings you back into a level of regulation where you can go on and speak on those things versus doing it in the moment, because a lot of times that's just going to lead to other issues that just boils into other things. So
very well said. Well said.
If you're in the boyfriend-girlfriend stage and this situation starts to reel its ugly head, is it a severe enough offense that you can, like, the whole relationship can be broken off? Not red flag. I'm talking about like this could end the relationship. Like everything else could be good. Conversation's good. Sex is good. Thing around the house is cool. Everything's like that. But you do not get along with my parents, and it is to the point where it's disruptive to the household. Is it enough? Is it grounds to end the relationship?
I gotta say no.
Pre-marriage.
I gotta say no.
Why you say that?
Because hope right here.
So like you would marry someone who has a poor relationship, like with your parents.
Like Razor said, you got to sit them both down to have that serious conversation.
I'm talking about to the point where it's not repairable. So like we're talking about the ugly. We're not talking about the bad. We're talking about the bad. We're talking about the part where we got to the point.
So you got to think about like Christmas and Thanksgiving and birthdays. And
I've told you about this. I've told you my concerns. You're still moving the same way that you're moving. Is it grounds to end the relationship?
So what you're saying is it's beyond repair. It hasn't been repaired.
Today's the ugly day, right?
Right.
Bad day.
It's ugly with it. I like it. So now you got to the point to where the person is not even trying to hear it, and they're basically steadfast of saying, I'm not going to like your parents. We're not going to have a relationship. I don't have to like them because I'm married to you.
Let's say we're at the point where we're like on opposite islands. Like we're at the point now where it's like we've addressed it. I've said my piece, you've said your piece, my parents have said their piece, and now you're at the point where it's like, I don't want to go to your family gatherings, and it's like we're just completely separate.
Right.
Is it grounds for a breakup?
The only reason why I say no in that moment is because, and this could just be some biasness from me, I would sit down with a professional. I would sit down with a couples counselor, talk that out through couples counseling. If through that does not like bring any sort of middle ground, then I would say, yeah, move on. Because your mom and dad's influence because you want your mom and dad to be influenced in your marriage. If there's things going on that you want to sit down and maybe get some advice from mom and dad and stuff like that, you want to be able to have that availability. Same thing with the kids. Like you don't want, the kids not be able to go and see grandma and grandpa. What if say for example, I'm a truck driver and I'm all the way across the country and you're left with the kids and there's something that you need to do and nobody else is available besides for my parents. Like what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to have that burden or want to have that thought process. So that's important to me. And I'm just talking from my perspective, like my girl's relationship with my family is important to me. If my family or she doesn't get along with them, to me, that's just not going to work out. And we've tried everything. We've done counseling and stuff like that. We've tried everything. That's just not going to work out for me because I'm too family oriented. I just think it depends on the person.
Yeah, and for me, I feel like it's important as well because if you're this adamant of not wanting to love my parents or have them be a part of our family and we can't get past this, what other settings are we going to see this same behavior? Before you know it, it's only me and you.
Right.
And now you have no one to be mad at. And now the person that you choose to be mad at is me. And now we are literally living in misery because you can't overcome the bitterness in your life. Like living with a person who doesn't want to forgive and is that bitter. Yep. It's like, because like we've heard it before, like we've been to church or we have family members who have told us, we've probably seen it on Instagram, somebody trying to be prolific. Like when you forgive somebody or you move past something, it's not for them, it's for you. Because you are going to make mistakes. You're going to want forgiveness or you're going to want people to look past your mistakes. So you have to extend the same kindness on what you want to receive. And if you're not the person that's willing to do that, you have something deeply rooted in you that I don't want to attach myself to. And that's how I feel. Joey?
I just say I was asking, like I'm a bad person to ask this because like I don't have in-laws. So it's like you can't not like my mom and my dad because they ain't here. Right. So it's like, that's a real easy thing there. But like I think like if I was to substitute and I was to say like it was like my siblings or something like that, like to me it's like you can kick rocks. Yeah. Like, especially like if you're the one in the wrong and it's like you can't do the forgiving and you can't do this part. Right. It's just like you said before, it's just gonna manifest itself somewhere else.
You're not gonna like a girl that can't stand up there or can't come to terms over there.
I mean, I guess it's like I don't like he's like of no consequence to me, like in a sense, like you know what I mean? Like it doesn't affect like my day-to-day like activities, stuff like that. Like you know what I mean? Right. Like he married someone that don't like me. So what are we talking about right now? Like that's like and it's like you don't got you did that. 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 You did that.
You said you did that. You
did that. I wasn't trying to go there. I wasn't trying to do that. But you did that.
No.
I almost said that.
Hey, let's relax.
I was gonna say he said they don't like you. You don't like it either.
Yeah. So like usually like when I get to that stage and stuff like that, like I know people it's usually important. Like the meeting the in-laws is usually like a huge step. That's usually not the huge step for me. The huge step is meeting my friends and my siblings because like those are the ones who have like the type of influence like that. And it's like there's a level where it's like I understand that like you can't just like everybody. Like you're gonna have these things that you don't like. You're gonna have people for reasons that you don't like it. But that does not mean that you need to be disrespectful or you're not respectful. And if they're not respectful then like, you know, then they can get checked for that thing like as well. But if like we're to the point where like you're telling me that like you're not going to come around like my friends or family, these other people who were around before you were around and like help me through to make me the person that like I am today, then it's like, yo, you keep moving. Right. I've had people keep it moving for less, for talking crazy about people that like I hang around with and stuff like that. And it's like, whoa, not doing that. Because it's like if you starting like on this now, like who knows where we're going next with that.
Where we're gonna be when we get down the street.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And it's like you know like how my household like usually runs. Like people are in and out. Like I hang out with this person this day, this person this day. And it's just like you're not gonna be standing around here like with an attitude every time like these people come around, because like I'm gonna show your people the type of respect that if you can't have that same respect towards me, then you can respect that map quest and find out where you need to get to go.
Because we don't knock when we walk in.
You need to start though, or at least text before you get there.
Right.
Start doing some of that.
I'm gonna be standing here in my drawers. I'm like, hold on, your daughter's not dressed.
I'm gonna give you the same arm that you and Bambi give. Hold on, Playboy.
Right.
Right. Now, hold on there, big fella.
I'm just gonna answer the door and be like, oh, I thought you was the food. My bad.
Oh God. I didn't know we was having egg rolls.
All right, I appreciate y'all, man. Next week we'll be off of
So you don't have a cultural gem, is what you're telling me?
I do have a cultural gem. I'm just saying that we're off of the good, the bad, and the ugly with in-laws.
Okay.
So next week we'll be on the Joel's topic.
Get ready for sneaky link season, because that's what we talk about, baby.
Wow.
Sneaky links and booty calls. Know your role. We call it. I'm just letting you know.
I might take that episode off.
If you're doing it right, you taking it off on sneaky links.
Oh, that's just tripping.
Hey, yo,
this brother's tripping, man.
Some of us have been there. We've been there. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to this
goodness.
game. That's the first level.
Yeah. Listen, man. He always brings fire, so I'm not gonna doubt him. I know it's gonna be entertaining. All right.
To say the least.
I do have
and informative.
There you go. So I do have a cultural gem.
Shine bright like a diamond.
So I had realized in all of these numbers, so we're at like 41 now.
Yep, 41 cultural gems.
Yes. And I'm actually a little frustrated with myself because I noticed that, like, you know, I try to get some iconic people in there and make sure that we're representing for like those who have changed comedy and movie viewing as we've seen it. And I noticed that one person was not on my list that was supposed to be on my list, and that's none other than Bernie Mac. All right.
Man.
You
did Friday.
Huh?
You did Friday.
I did do Friday, but it wasn't really a Bernie Mac thing. And I was thinking about going with the Players Club, but I was just like, you know what? I want something. Dollar bill. Don't make me raise up, Blue. Don't make me raise up, Blue. It's gonna be trouble. But I know that he didn't have a lot of. I won't say he didn't have a lot, but like it was like it was not a leading role for him. So I wanted to make sure to find
6-7 seasons of the Bernie Mac show.
The Bernie Mac show was dope, but these cultural gems are movies. So I decided to go with Guess Who. And Guess Who? Yep, definitely a classic. I forgot to get the cast up. My bad. That's on me.
Ashton Kutcher.
So it's the remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that was his first one of the few movies he had the main role in, right?
Yeah. Then like what, Soul Man?
That movie was hilarious.
Mr. 3000, that's a big one.
Mr. 3000 was a dope one.
Yep.
That was a real dope one. So I'm sorry. I usually don't do this.
No, you usually do this.
I usually do this
pretty
all the
much.
time.
Do you want to give the synopsis of what Guess Who was?
Yes. So Bernie Mac is literally waiting for his daughter to come home. He's super excited about meeting her boyfriend because she told her dad that she was going to bring her boyfriend. This is the first time that they're meeting. So, like, you know, Bernie Mac's pulling out all the stop because his baby girl's coming home. She gets to meet his boyfriend. You know, he's excited about doing the whole press the boyfriend thing, but making sure he's good. And then lo and behold, his daughter shows up with Ashton Kutcher, who is a white dude.
An unseasoned.
Yes. So I believe one of the first scenes is like he took the bag from Ashton like he was the taxi guy or something. Was like or he dapped the taxi guy because he was black or something like that. I think it might have been Mike Epps.
I think it was Mike Epps.
Yeah.
And he was dapping him right back too.
Right. So it was Mike Epps, and he was dapping him like, "Oh, you got you a good brother." And then it turns out that Ashton Kutcher was the guy. So it's like the whole movie is about the calamities of them building that relationship and him. Like it's a good segue of like in-laws. You know what I mean? It's not why I did it, or maybe it is, but like being able to understand like how you have to approach yourself to people and then understand where your loved one is coming from. There are ups and downs throughout the whole movie. I think you get the gist, but it was a 2005 movie. Bernie Mac did very well in it, as he always does, and it's definitely a classic for me.
Where can they find it?
Oh yeah.
I know they're also celebrating, I believe they were celebrating like their wedding anniversary or renewing their vows or something like that. So.
Oh, so they was already married to them.
No, Bernie Mac and his wife.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. There you go. That's what it was. Hold on, give me a second.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie, and it was like one of the scenes like that, like audibly made me laugh out loud because I had heard it, but like when they're kind of going through like the racial slurs for white people. And then when one dude yells out bird shit, I was like, yo, that's one of my favorite jokes like of all time. Like, I was like, oh man, I ain't heard that one, but I'm using it.
All right, so you can watch it on Tubi for free. We got it. It's on Hulu with a premium subscription. You got it on Sling TV. You got it on Amazon Prime, YouTube for $4, Google Play, and last but not least, as always, you can watch it on Vudu. You
Always
can watch
on
it on
Vudu, baby.
Listen, man, did we send that email to Vudu yet, man?
Not yet.
We're giving them too much love, man. We probably missed out on like 30 subscriptions already. But yeah, so go check it out. Guess who? If you haven't seen it, I guarantee you it's not a miss, and it will definitely be entertaining, something to sit down and kick and watch. If you have seen it, watch it again. You never know what type of gems you might have missed in the movie after not watching it for a long time. So I think I might actually watch it tonight.
Or are you going to watch Chip and Dale? That's real cool.
I'm not watching it with Nias. I'm watching it, seeing as if it's the modern day Roger Rabbit. Did you hear about this? Monterey Jack is strung out on.
He can watch it on the episode. He can watch it when the pod goes up.
Don't hold him accountable.
Hold him accountable. We're at like 2.5 hours right now. We really need to get up out of here. But I did want to ask, because I know
Nasty Nugget.
I'm gonna do DS Nugget. But this is a question about the cultural gems.
Okay.
I was watching a movie today, and it's one of my favorite series of movies. And I was like, I wonder if it's ever gonna make Raises cultural gems.
Okay.
I was watching Rush Hour 2 today. Is Rush Hour ever gonna be a cultural gem?
You was just talking about that.
You have to.
Let me tell you something. Like, I knew Rush Hour 2 was my favorite, and then I was watching it today, and I was like, this. Like, I remember, I think I was going through the mail or something. I didn't do anything for an hour and a half. I was just dying.
Which one of y'all kicked me?
Ain't nobody understand when it's coming out now.
All right, I'll think about it.
Jesus.
Listen, by far, my favorite scene in all the Rush Hours is like when him and Don Cheetah. He was like, you got a Chinese restaurant on Crenshaw. He was like, I learned kung fu. He was like, you
say you fell in the kitchen.
I shoot you say you fell in the kitchen. I mean, it was like, where'd you learn that tiger style? He was like, from Chang. He was like, Freddie Chang? He was like, no, Freddie Chang on Crenshaw. He was like, oh, they are brothers. Yeah. Like, I love it.
Let me tell you something. Chris Tucker is a tour de force in these movies.
Yes.
And Jackie Chan is like right there with them.
Yes.
It's just like, it's a beloved franchise. That's the only reason I brought it up.
I like it.
But
I got you. I got you.
But
secret.
That's what it was. I was like, this is yes, baby. So,
Shorty took the wig off. Shorty took the wig off. He was like, get her, Lee. Get her, Lee. It's the crying, baby. Oh, I got you. I got you. All right, I got y'all. I mean, the 42 will be Rush Hour. That's dope. All right, so we already got our next cultural gem.
I was going to forego my nasty nugget to give Bmizz, our special guest. You had any sort of closing thoughts or anything that you wanted to say? Like before we head out, I wanted to give you the nasty nugget for the day to drop anything after that. Either places where people can find you, some things that you got working on, or just like something that like we didn't touch on that you wanted to hit.
Well, I mean, I am on the gram. It's Bmizz the Prince _ LCSW.
What's the LCSW?
Licensed clinical
social worker.
Yeah, licensed clinical
social worker. That boy got paper, degree.
You know, one thing that I know my brother's in the same field, but right now I'm working in the school system, and I'm working with elementary kids right now. And one of the things that I'm really pushing them to think is outside of the box, especially working with our young boys of color, because we know they all striving to be ball players or rappers and stuff like that. So
I find the problem now is that they're just not striving to be anything. That's the real problem, and that drives me crazy.
Right. And that's why I feel like it's on us as the adults and the ones that they look up to, to really try to help them to think and reach for something. I have one kid now. He's inspiring to be a marine biologist. And prior to meeting me, he didn't know what he wanted to do. But like based off of me sitting down with him telling me his interest in the ocean and sea creatures and stuff like that, I'm like, brother, be a marine biologist. And now that's all he talks about. You know what I mean? So just inspiring the next generation to really strive for something and make their mark on the world is why I do this work. And you know, again, it's something that I don't, there's not a day that I wake up and I don't look forward to going to work to inspire these youth, you know, besides for when I was sick. But other than that, you know, it's all about the kids and giving back and what I can do to make a mark in this world. And it was interesting because when I was in college, my advisor, God rest his soul, I remember sitting in his office and he said to me, "You're going to change the world." And in that moment, I didn't know what he was talking about. But now seeing the impact that I'm having on these youth, I'm like, that's what Dr. Robinson was talking about. Hey. So, you know, so yeah, that's my thing, you know, just you never know who's watching you. So you always gotta be mindful of the steps that you take in life. So
giving direction to the directionless. That sounds good.
Sir.
One man can change the world.
Well, we're definitely leaving off on that now. Plus, I could also see the battery sign going on this. So like, peace out for next week, episode 50.
Oh yeah.
One of the things.
Look twice, save a life. We out there on twos.
Motorcycles.
Hey, look twice, save a life. We out there on twos.
I'm sick of y'all, honestly.